From the very beginning, she was my support, my cheerleader, always giving me the best she could. Now it's my time to find the best for her, and that started with a call to Shannon Fauner, Sunflower Real Estate Group. Their lifestyle transition experts became part of our family, working with us to find the right fit for Mom, making sure she was ready, and getting her excited for her new home. Shannon Fauner, Sunflower Real Estate Group, the key piece to your puzzle.
Passionate, focused, strong, qualities that you look for in a great athlete, and also a great lawyer. At Strong Law Offices, injury law is at the heart of what we do. Our team is on your side. When the game is on the line, let us tackle your claim.
All right, testing broadcast audio from Washington. Testing broadcast audio from Washington. Testing 1, 2 here at Babcook Field. Jonathan Michael and Teddy Ball. We were just wearing our Halloween costumes a few minutes ago because this is a slightly Halloween-themed broadcast. Should be a fun night. Again, testing 1, 2 here from Babcook Field. WMBD Game of the Week on CIProud.com.
Teddy Ball here talking about Washington versus Morton. Morton sitting set for 4-4 overall on the year, getting ready to go against Washington, sitting at 6-2 for a chance to get into the playoffs.
All right, that should wrap up our audio test. Let us know if you heard us all good and that there's no echo.
He is married to Betsy Smith and has 3 children. Daughter Kathy Shermer and sons Mark Smith and current WCHS mathematics teachers Tom Smith. Welcome, Mr. Dick Smith.
Okay, heard the test. There are few things better than a chilly Friday night in October. It can only mean a few things, and one of them is that it's week 9 of the IHSA football season here in the land of Lincoln. Whether you're 0-8, 8-0, week 9 always means so much, and tonight we have a great battle between the 4-4 Morton Potters looking to win to get into the playoffs, and the Washington Panthers, who are 6-2, looking to finish off an unbeaten Mid-Illini Conference slate here in front of a big home crowd at Babcook Field. Good evening, everyone. Jonathan Michael and Teddy Ball here in the booth with you on our special Halloween-themed broadcast. Teddy, obviously we're a bit dressed up. I should call you Teddy. This is Sean McVay, who I'm standing next to. I'm Jonathan Michael, the broadcast bandit. But Teddy, week 9 again, it always is so fun, regardless of where your team is at in the season.
It definitely is, and not only that, but it's also even more fun when you have two teams that are one that's fighting for a chance to get into the playoffs and another one that's fighting for a chance to keep them out of it. Two conference rivals.
Definitely lots at stake, and Morton again has won 3 in a row. We talked about them getting into the playoffs, but they felt like they've been playing in the playoffs since week 6 because they've needed to win with their backs up against the wall.
They really have, and like you said, the last couple of weeks they've been having to get those wins if they wanted the chance to get into the playoffs. And we've been talking about how they have a chance of possibly getting in at 4-5, but they have to have the mindset going into this game that you can't afford a loss today. You have to win this game. It's a must-win game against a tough conference opponent.
There's a small chance they could get in at 4-5, but that chance is very minuscule. Washington, on the other hand, they've already locked up their playoff berth, but again, they're chasing that conference title. That was the primary goal of theirs, and it wasn't just to win it. It was to go undefeated and do it and become the first team since 2015 and 2016 to win back-to-back outright Mid-Illini Conference crowns.
And that just shows you just how strong the Mid-Illini has been over the last decade, and Washington has a chance to finally crack that. And we talked about in the interviews earlier this week about how important that conference undefeated record was, and they really have a chance of solidifying that here tonight in week 9.
Definitely, and Morton, just real quick, talking about them, their 3-game win streak. Offense has been playing great. It's the best scoring offense in the Mid-Illini right now. Defense has been strong as well. Teddy, who are some Potters that you're looking at tonight?
Offensively, Isaac Davis has been the guy to watch. He's only a sophomore at quarterback, but he's just played electric for them all season long. 617 passing yards and over 12 touchdowns on the ground, so he's really a dual-threat guy that can do it all.
Definitely. And for Washington, we kind of know what we're going to get with them. The bread and butter, run the ball, time of possession, play good defense. Who are some Panthers that you were looking at?
When you see the Washington Panthers offense, you got to look at Hunter Reed. He's over 1,000 yards rushing on the year with 16 touchdowns to go along with it. And then on the other side of the ball, you can look at defense. You got Carter Prino on that defensive end position, who's been dominant all season long with over 5 sacks.
It definitely is all set up to be a great matchup here tonight. Our WMBD Game of the Week, the final one of the regular season here from Washington. Broadcast coverage coming up right after this on CIProud.com.
Week 9 of the IHSA football season is here, and there are tons of big games with big stakes, playoff implications all across the state here tonight. And even outside of the playoffs, still lots to play for here in this final week. We'll start there with both of these teams, Morton and Washington. Morton looking for their 4th straight win after starting out 1-4. They've felt like they've been playing playoff games for the last month or so and have won every single time since then. Washington looking for their 7th straight win of the season after 2 straight losses to open up. Panthers are looking to become the first team in the Mid-Illini to win outright conference titles since they did so in 2015 and 2016. But as some of you may know, we had IHSA bracketology full bracket projections on CSM Overtime this week. You can still go and check that out at clutchsportsil.com/overtime in about the 24 hours or so that we have until the official brackets release from the IHSA on Saturday evening. But we'll give you a sneak peek of what we're looking at for both teams, starting with Washington. The Panthers have already clinched their playoff bid at 6-2. We know they're going to make it in. And right now, I think to little people's surprise, I think Panthers will be in Class 6A right now. And I have them currently forecasted as a number 7 seed in Class 6A, and that's if they win here tonight. Again, close game with Morton. I figured, well, a toss-up game, I'd go with the home team just for the sake of these projections. But if Washington is able to win tonight, I have them forecasted as, again, the number 7 seed in the southern portion of the bracket. And again, just as of my projections, again, this could fluctuate, but I have them facing 10-seeded Lamont, who won last night in a big game against Hillcrest, 43-42. So Lamont is finished with their regular season at 6-3. Good team up near Chicagoland, and that's who I currently have Washington facing. There's lots of other area teams in 6A this year that Washington could potentially match up with in the first round or later on in the playoffs, including Bloomington, who I have just one spot above Washington due to their number of playoff points. That's essentially the total number of their opponents' wins this season. Washington could leapfrog Bloomington depending on Friday's outcomes, but you don't want to guarantee or count on that too terribly much. Also peaking in Normal West, I have forecasted to be in Class 6A. I have them in the 8-9 matchup right now, so that would be a fun one for sure as well. But Washington, again, looking at a win, and if you do win, you're probably hosting in the first round. A loss for Washington, I would probably guess means that they're going to be on the road. Still won't be a terrible seed, but probably playing on the road in week 1 if they lose here tonight. Now, Morton, obviously 4-4. They essentially need a win tonight to qualify for the playoffs. Now, in the past few years, there have been a very small amount of 4-5 teams that have qualified for the playoffs. And those teams that have done so have had a high number of playoff points, which is the tiebreaker. And so right now, Morton has a good number of playoff points, 40 entering Friday's game. But currently, that's not enough to make the playoffs. They would either need lots of teams unexpectedly to lose, or they would need a lot of teams that are either 3-5 and 4-4 looking for a playoff spot to also lose tonight. And Morton also needs to root for their opponents this season, meaning essentially Muhammad, Seymour, and Rochelle. They will get 3 opponents' wins based off of whoever wins in the Mid-Illini here tonight as well. So Morton not looking great, not impossible to make it in at 4-5. 5-4 is definitely going to put the Potters in the playoffs, and I would have them forecasted in Class 5A, probably at about... Probably it would be a solid seed. I would say as high potentially as a 9, 10, or an 11 seed in the southern bracket of Class 5A. They could potentially face teams such as Highland, Chicago Corliss, Thornton Fractional North, and Marion. Those would be some teams that I have on my radar if I were the Potters, and you do win tonight. But should be a great game, and obviously brackets come out tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned with us for lots more playoff coverage on CS.
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps coverage in Central Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams,
Your stories.
Your stats and standings.
your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts.
As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better.
With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds.
CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action.
More stories.
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
I'm here with Morton head coach Adam O'Neill here before tonight's big game. The Pirates taking on the Panthers here at Babcook Field. And Adam, I know it's been a while since we've seen you, but you guys have gone on a good win streak lately. Big game tonight. How are you feeling? How's the team feeling headed into this game?
I like where we're at right now. We told the kids after last week, we don't like how we started, but the only thing that matters is where we're at right now. And right now we're playing really good football.
Definitely. And, obviously 2 very close losses earlier in the conference season, but since then, some very big wins. What did you guys maybe learn in those 2 games that you guys have been able to, use later on here in the season?
We had to clean a few things up, and we had a bunch of injuries early in the year, and some kids had to step up, and I think they got their feet wet and got some experience, and we just refocused and told the kids it's time to respond, and they've responded, and we just focused on getting better, and we can't control the results. All we can do is control how we practice and how we prepare, and we've done a really good job of that.
Definitely, and obviously you guys coming in at 4-4. Probably needing a playoff win or a win to clinch a playoff berth here tonight, but you guys probably have felt like you guys have been playing playoff games for the last 3 weeks with your backs against the wall. Does it feel that way at all?
Yeah, we talked about that as soon as the Pekin game was over. So it's playoff time right now, and we've been talking about 1-0 in the playoffs. And last week we talked about we're 3-0 in the playoffs right now, and now we're going to go 1-0 in the playoffs this week. And that's been the mentality, and there's no other way to do it.
Definitely, and obviously you guys have been playing pretty well lately. A lot of guys I know that have been star players for you. Who have been some guys that have maybe just really stepped up over these last few weeks and helped you kind of go on that 3-game win streak?
Well, defensively, having Ian Collins back and getting his lungs and his legs back. He had an appendectomy right after the scrimmage, and we don't have him first 3 weeks. He's a returning all-conference caliber player, and now he's playing like the guy we thought he could. Joe Lopko's finished, kind of settled into the role at inside linebacker, and Cole Rinkenberger is a dude. He's not played a lot of offense until this year, and now he's been a big threat on offense. He was already a big playmaker on defense, and now we're getting him going both ways. And and I think our O-line is settled. They're a little bit young, and they figured some things out too and playing really well.
Certainly, the Young Hogs getting it done, and obviously Panthers coming in and going to provide a stiff test tonight. What's going to be the biggest key in taking them down?
Well, we've talked about like the team, and it's not very exciting coach speak, but it's who blocks better and who tackles better this week. That's they are who they are, and they're really good at it, and they force you to tackle in one-on-one situations, and we got to do that, and they do a really good job up front. So we got to do a really good job staying on our blocks and fighting for every yard. Definitely.
Well, Adam, your Pirates should be providing a great game here tonight against Washington. Guys, back up to you in the booth. And welcome in live to Babcook Field here in Washington. Phenomenal crowd on hand. It is dark. It is a little bit chilly, but Teddy, it is perfect football weather here in Illinois. And boy, I just wouldn't want to be anywhere else than covering a high school football game right now. What a night.
Not only high school football, but one of the better high school football rivalries anywhere in central Illinois. And you're going to find it here in week 9 where it matters most. I know we're going to be in for a good one. We got 2 teams that are fighting for something. Washington fighting for a chance of remaining undefeated in conference play, and Morton fighting for a sliver of hope that they have of getting into the playoffs. And they've been so good over this last 4 games trying to force that chance, and they have a chance tonight to solidify that.
Definitely. And talking about tonight's forecast, it's a great night here in Washington. It's football weather. About 55 degrees or so. Very small chance of rain. Wind speed is minimal. I mean, this is just great October weather. Not too hot, not too cold, just kind of that Goldilocks porridge, just right.
Just right. You get your hoodie on. Everybody's sitting in the crowd. It might be a little cold for the players, but, for us fans, we get to sit back and really relax and watch some good football. So I know we're all excited.
There are lots of fans here tonight. Big crowd on hand. Not many seats left here on the Washington side, I should say. Morton's brought a great crowd across the way as well. And they're watching their 4th place Morton Potters as we take a look at the Mid-Illini standings right now. Again, Washington undefeated in conference play today. There were questions about if this Washington team would be just as dominant. So far, they've answered it.
They absolutely have. They lost a lot of guys last year, but they've been able to fill those gaps perfectly. Hunter Reed, that running back, has been, just continuing the lineage of great rushers here at Washington. He's got over 1,000 yards already on the season with 16 touchdowns to go along with it. And overall, besides him, just everyone's really elevated up to the next level over these last 6 weeks.
Definitely. And obviously, week 9, teams are going to do some scoreboard watching. You see Pekin in 2nd place at 5-1. obviously Dragons fans are going to be rooting for Morton here tonight, because if Pekin can beat East Peoria, then it would be a share of the conference title. Again, no tiebreakers, it'd just be a straight share. But again, Morton 4-2 with 4-4 overall, but still in fourth place above Dunlap right now, who they beat last week. There you see the bevy of fans crowding on the Pantherplex, one of the best areas to watch a game in the area. And we're going to take a quick break here in our WMBD Game of the Week. Glad you're with us here on Friday night. Strap in, folks. We have a great Mid-Illini night contest coming your way right after this.
From the very beginning, she was my support, my cheerleader, always giving me the best she could. Now it's my time to find the best for her, and that started with a call to Shannon Fauner, Sunflower Real Estate Group. Their lifestyle transition experts became part of our family, working with us to find the right fit for Mom, making sure she was ready, and getting her excited for her new home. Shannon Fauner, Sunflower Real Estate Group, the key piece to your puzzle.
Passionate, focused, strong. Qualities that you look for in a great athlete, and also a great lawyer. At Strong Law Offices, injury law is at the heart of what we do. Our team is on your side. When the game is on the line, let us tackle your claim.
And welcome back to Washington. The Panthers have taken the field. The Potters will be coming out soon from their locker room as the band exits. Today we were talking about the band before. Washington is one of the best in the land.
The band is great, and also just everything that you think of when you think of football when it comes to Washington is phenomenal. The crowd, the atmosphere, you know, the energy that comes with it, and especially the band, like you mentioned. It's really an all-around effort here at Babcook Field.
And Morton, definitely one of those schools that just feels like they're good at everything as well. It's kind of two of the best schools in the area. And talking about the best teams, Washington, not just one of the best in the area in football, one of the best in the state. They are in the Class 6A poll for the first time in a while. Got up to number 10 this week after a big win over Canton last weekend, Teddy. A lot of great teams in there. You see East St. Louis, who they played in the playoffs last year. You see Kankakee, who they lost to in week 2. Some other great teams as well, plus some local influence down in receiving votes.
There's definitely like a bunch of great teams on that list, but when you look at Washington down there at 10, you can't help but think, you know, eventually they're going to be moving their way up those, or they've been moving their way up those, because they started off 0-2 to start the year. Similar situation to Morton, where they both started off with a not-so-good schedule. But since that Week 2 mark, and after that loss to Kankakee, they have really elevated to the team that we know them as one of the best teams in all of Central Illinois and the best team in the Mid-Illini so far this year.
Definitely. And, Teddy, you know, I hate to bring this up to you, but I remember a couple weeks ago on our In the Clutch podcast, after Morton was 1-4, looked like, you know, maybe a bit of a down year for them. Again, they played two great teams in the non-conference in Mahomet Seymour and Rochelle, both of whom are ranked in Class 5A. But you said that they would go 2-7 at that point. I, again, hate to bring it up, but here they are, 4-4 and exceeding expectations. This is a good Potters football team and much better than many people expect.
Definitely stings when you tell me that, because it's not one of my best predictions, but you got to give credit to Morton because they've played phenomenal in all those games. I predicted them to lose to Metamora, which they won. I predicted them to get upset by East Peoria, who was on a hot streak, and they won dominantly. And so they've really shut me up and shut up a lot of other people that really were hating on them earlier on in the season. Not that I was hating on them, but they've played phenomenal down the stretch here, and they have a chance to solidify that playoff spot with one more game against Washington.
Certainly. Let's look at our players to watch tonight. For Washington, Teddy, we're looking at the defensive side of the ball, and Carter Quinn, senior linebacker, whose role just got a bit more important this week.
Yeah, the Washington linebackers have all been very, very impressive, but with losses at the position, Carter Quinn has been kind of forced to step up. He's got 40 tackles on the year, a sack, and a fumble recovery, and he's played phenomenal, and he's got a chance to really elevate and be that number one guy this week at the linebacker role.
Definitely. And going back to Morton real quick before we talk to about their key player, 2 losses for Morton in conference play were by a combined 6 points. Almost forgot about that for a second, but Morton not far away from being 6-2 and being undefeated themselves in conference play. Their key player to watch tonight is Cole Rinkenberger, a player that's going to have an impact on the offensive and defensive side of the ball.
He's really been phenomenal for them. Like you said, he's offensive and defense, but he's also offensively, he can run the ball and he can, receive the ball as well as a receiver, a lot like a lot of these other players on Morton. But you mentioned, defensively, he's also a key player for them, and he's kind of an interesting guy to watch because there's a lot of those Morton guys that go two ways, but he's one to really keep your eye on.
Definitely. Let's take a look at our tail of the tape again real quick. Morton 4-4, Washington 6-2. Look at the points for Morton, averages nearly 40 a game. Washington only gives up, though, less than 13.
And one thing we talked about, we did the podcast episode this week, and compared to Mid-Illini opponents, Washington has overall 100 points have been scored against them on the season. 62 of those points were in the first 2 weeks that they lost. Since then, no one has scored more than 10 points. Against the Mid-Illini, they've outscored them 220-38 in the last 6 games.
Wow, some good numbers there from the Potters. Our coin toss tonight, brought to you by Hometown Community Banks, was won by Washington. They elected to defer, so Morton will receive. And our kickoff coming to you, brought to you by Michael's Italian Feast. I want to thank them and all of our great sponsors here tonight. All the practice in the offseason, 9 long weeks of the regular season lead up to this. The final week kicks off now from Washington as Devin Miller sends a booming kick back to the back of the end zone, and it's a touchback. Let's meet the Morton starting offense.
Soren Pfeiffer, sophomore, left tackle.
Dennis Jacob, senior, left guard. Joe Hearn, junior, center.
Aiden Lamar, junior, right guard.
Oliver Donnelly, senior, right tackle.
Isaac Davis, sophomore, quarterback.
Sean Buffington, senior, running back.
Julian Alexander, senior, wide receiver.
Cole Rinkenberger, senior, receiver.
Silas Steffen, junior, wide receiver.
Lucas Drake, senior, tight end.
And there's your Potters starters. They'll start this game at the 20. After that big kick from Devin Miller, a focal point that we're going to touch on tonight for Washington. Isaac Davis, the sophomore quarterback, finds Rinkenberger. Johnny on the spot, gain of about 5 on the first play of the game.
Already getting a nod from one of our players of the game to watch out for, Cole Rinkenberger, with his first reception of the game. It sets up second and 5.
Davis been a strong player for Morton this year. Again, just a sophomore, won a quarterback competition in the offseason with junior Nolan McIntyre. He will hand off here. It's a short gain. And will set up a 3rd and short. Morton's been running the ball pretty well as of late. Sean Buffington, Vian Seams, Isaac Davis, all 3 guys that can hurt you.
Yeah, they're a little bit different from Washington in their run game. Washington, they do have a couple of guys that can really run the ball, but Morton emphasizes on really spreading it around. You see a lot of running backs running, as well as receivers getting the nod with rushing yards as well.
So it's 3rd and 2 here from the 28. Davis tried to get the hard count, and I think he might have did so, Teddy. That flag came flying, and Washington was just a bit too antsy there.
Veteran move there by Davis. Like you said earlier, though, only a sophomore, so people are going to have to start getting used to his name around the Mid-Illini. He's going to be here for years to come.
It's so nice every time you could have a sophomore as a quarterback, much less one that performs at the level of Davis, as they now have the first down. Because, again, you could potentially have a 3-year starter. Ball is out! Julian Alexander lost it, and Washington may have it.
Looks like he got stripped there on the spin move.
Moment of anticipation here, and it is Morton football. It may have been Silas Steffen, number 11, that came up with that one. Obviously, key to the game is going to be holding on to the football, but also for Morton, Teddy, let's look at them now. They got to have a strong interior, and they can't overthink tonight's game, even though there's lots of stakes involved.
The strong interior part, the Washington defensive line and offensive line for the trenches are so strong, and so Morton really has to emphasize on just countering that and trying to stop any potential losses. They haven't done it tonight.
There'll be a give to Sean Buffington for 2nd and 10, picks up a good chunk. And for Washington's keys to the game, again, they got to be ready for lots of different things that this Morton offense may throw at them. They like to have just multiple everything. They're hard to predict. And also, they got to tackle well in open field, win those one-on-one battles.
Yeah, when we talked to head coach Todd Stevens of the Washington Panthers, he kind of anticipated that. He said they were running plays that they hadn't even seen Morton run just to anticipate the different things they're going to be doing in this game.
3rd and 1, they run a little screen out to Rinkenberger. It's enough for the first down before he's brought down, it looked like, by A.J. Jones, their junior DB, who again transferred back from Bolingbrook after spending his sophomore year there. His freshman year and everything before that was here in Washington. Overall, nice drive by the Potters here to open this game. 4 wide receivers for Davis. Got it past an outstretched arm and into the hands of Matt Sander. Those quick hitters have really been strong for the Potters so far, Teddy.
They've really been firing on all cylinders, and that pass right there was really accurate. Almost, it seemed like it was going to be tipped by Carter Quinn, but he's able to put it right in the perfect spot to set up a 2nd and 5.
And a lot of times you see in high school football, when teams pass the ball, sometimes it's kind of just all or nothing. They go for long passes or it's an incompletion. Nothing wrong, though, with those little 5-6 yards gains as Davis fumbled the snap. Carter Prina indicates that Washington has the football. But the second time this drive, Teddy, that Morton has nearly lost it.
Seemed like the snap was a little slow, and the receiver on the motion might have made it a little bit difficult for Davis to see the ball. He kind of grabbed it afterwards. It looks like they're going to keep possession of it, but that definitely was something you got to clean up on.
A wasted play there for the Hogs. It'll make it a 3rd and long. They need to get to the Washington 41.
Their first bit of adversity really on this drive. They've been rolling other than that.
This Morton team, Adam O'Neill, their head coach, said that they're a little bit amped up, but not a ton. Maybe a bit more amped up now that the lights are turned on. 3rd down, Davis looking for a man. He's got a guy and a completion to Shondon Buffington, the running back, for a pickup of 16.
The lights definitely didn't affect Davis on that one. He looked poised in the pocket there, just delivers it right on the money to set up another first down for the Potters.
Great pass, just dropped it right on the money, and Buffington made the slightly over-the-shoulder grab. Motion man is Alexander. He evades the tackle. Drives forward for a yard or 2, and he's still going. And leans forward for an extra 2 yards, kind of like how Frank Gore, former NFL running back, used to do.
They definitely got the guys that can do it. I think earlier I was talking to you about this. I believe 8 different players have scored rushing touchdowns for the Potters. That's wild to think about how many options they have.
It's now 2nd and 4 from the 28. And it's a keeper by Davis. He is going down. Dennis Drakup couldn't contain both Carter Prina and Noah Bell. That's 3 all-conference players in on that play.
Prina and Bell have been dominant all season long, and that's why we talked about the key. Like one of the keys of the game earlier on was just limiting that pressure. And Carter Prina has 5 sacks on the year, and Noah Bell has 4, and now they both have just a few more.
I'm watching the matchup on the line closest to us here in the booth. Again, Carter Prina, the 3-year starter, all-conference player, matched up against Morton's left tackle, and Soren Pfeiffer, the big 6'7" sophomore. And then next to Pfeiffer is Dennis Drakup, again, first-team all-conference guard. 3rd and 8. Another quick pass is out to Matt Sander. And that should be a first down for Morton.
Perfectly run route there on the hitch, and was able to cut up field after the reception, get a couple more, and get the first down.
Matt Sander came into tonight with 9 receptions for 79 yards. He's already up to 11 catches on the year now. And, you know, Teddy, going back to Morton's rushing attack, we talked so much about Washington's, how good it's been, but for Morton, they've ran for 2,200 yards this year. Washington's ran for about 1,600.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when you talk about both these teams, you think about rushing the ball. They throw it that time.
Out pass broken up. Looked like that may have been Kamar Mack. They're rover on defense as Davis was looking for Alexander in the end zone, but back to your point.
That was great coverage there, but like I said, they do throw the ball as we just saw, but both these teams are primarily run offenses, and the difference between the two is Morton spreads it out quite a bit. Their leading rusher is their quarterback. You said about 2,000 yards rushing, and he's their leading rusher with 650, so that just shows you how much they move it around.
Another screen, and Alexander is blown up. Evan Reed came in and laid the hit stick on him before Alexander could get much of a hand on it. Wow.
Had his fingertips on the ball before just getting blown up. Great play by the Washington defense, and overall just great read.
Evan Reed, the brother of Hunter Reed, and we talk so much about Hunter, but Evan is quite the player in his own right as well. Now another third down for Morton. Can the Panthers defense get off the field here? Davis looking to throw. No one. Oh, well, someone was there for the Potters, but it's incomplete. The intended man was number 6, Rinkenberger.
They've given him a couple of nods early on. He was successful on the first two, and that one was really close. The toe was on the line. Couldn't quite get it done. He's going to be a big factor for this game for sure.
Would be a 39-yard field goal from here. Not quite in the range of their kicker, Dane Kaser, whose long is 26 this season, but they do bring Kaser out here. So maybe we see a season-long field goal here, Teddy. We saw a school record from Washington back in Week 7. Now can we have a season record from Kaser from 39 yards out? Snap and hold is good. Kaser's kick hanging up in the air, crawls over the uprights, and Morton puts 3 on the board. Just enough mustard on that one.
That was a pretty good kick. I think it would have been able to make it from at least 4, maybe 5 yards, even farther than that. So credit to him. Definitely showing off his ability. Talked a lot about Washington and their ability to kick the ball, but Morton answering right at their own.
Great kick there from Kaser. It caps off a scoring drive brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. And 3 points is still something. I was talking with Devin Miller, which, by the way, we'll have a interview with him coming up at halftime, so stay tuned for that. Hey, points are points, and if this game comes down to the wire, which it very well could, those 3 could be very valuable for the Hogs.
It's not very often you see kickers have as much importance in a high school team, but you definitely see it at the higher level. So when you can have a really good kicker, that just adds another factor that you're just not as guardable, whether offensively or just, when you get in a jam, able to go to a kicker.
So Morton, again, great job converting on 3rd down on that drive. That stuck out to me and allowed them just to get in field goal range. Now Kaser will send it away, and it's a weird kick. This one could be Morton football. That took a big Potters bounce. And it will be Washington ball, where Tyler Humphrey and the Panthers offense will take over. Let's meet them now.
Jacob Goff, senior, tackle.
Fisher, senior, guard. Sean Thornton, junior, center.
Jackson Stewart, senior, guard.
Topher, junior, tackle.
Tyler Humphrey, senior, quarterback.
Will Freeman, junior, fullback.
James Johnston, junior, wide receiver.
Dylan Brabson, senior, wide receiver.
Carter Prina, senior, tight end.
And welcome back. Panthers looking to start their drive now from the 34 after Morton nearly recovered what was, I don't think it was designed to be an onside kick, but nearly was. Humphrey out of the eye, and a man jumped for Washington. That was Ian Collins. Looking to get a head start and jumped the gun.
Looks like the offense is going to move forward. From my perspective there, looked like Ian Collins was the one that jumped, like you said.
That may have been Josh Hofer, Washington's left tackle, that would have been the guilty party instead. Or rather, no, on Morton. So that penalty, was on Collins. Short run on 1st down by Hunter Reed.
John, going into this game, I think a lot of people might have it favored in Washington's perspective, in Washington's favor, just because of how good they've been all season long. On our CSM Pick'ems this week, all 5 of the voters picked Washington going into this one, so that just shows the kind of the added pressure on Morton in this game.
Actually, I would say that takes the pressure off of Morton, I would argue, as Reed breaks a tackle there by Ethan Johnson and chugs forward for a first down at midfield. But, you know, Teddy, in that CSM Pick'em again, which you can read on CSM Overtime, but I was a bit surprised to see that there were some unanimous picks of Morton and Washington. Everyone picked Washington. I was a bit surprised. I was also surprised that everyone picked Canton to beat Limestone in a battle of 2 0-8 teams tonight, as well as everyone picked Eureka to beat Shelbyville. Good game in the heart of Central Illinois Large.
Got to be careful when you put every vote on one team. It just adds the motivation for teams to really get the upset.
Now I think Morton needs much motivation to win tonight. Again, looking for a win to sneak into the 5A playoffs. Short gain by Reed running to the left side on first down. Last week, Teddy, was Washington's first game since week 5 where they didn't rush for more than 200 yards, but they still came up with 196 and a 49-6 win over Canton.
Still a dominant run game, even if it's not quite at the 200 mark. Just they've done that all season long. Besides maybe the Kankakee game, they've been able to run with great efficiency, and that's thanks to that man right there, Hunter Reed. He breaks it free. He has a chance to take it all the way down.
And there goes Reed for 52 yards. And just like that, Panthers take the lead. How many times have we seen him go on a long scoring romp like that this year? Wow.
17 times, John. That's how many touchdowns he has on the year now after that one. Unbelievable season for Reed, and just these Washington running back factory year after year producing immense talent. But this Hunter Reed kid is something special.
Many people remember how unstoppable Kanon McQuarrie was. Well, not bad news for you. Hunter Reed has been just as unstoppable for Washington. And the PAT from Miller is up and good. He is going on an unofficial visit to University of Illinois here soon. Heck of a leg there from the Panthers junior. That scoring drive is also brought to you by Papa John's. Well, yeah, 17 touchdowns for Hunter Reed. He comes in averaging an even 2 per game, and there's his first of the night.
So you get the flag runners running down early on in this one. A couple of scores on either side, 7-3. We already know we got a good game in store for us.
So they're dressed up a bit. I'm sure not for Halloween, but it's jersey night, those flag runners. I see a Jordan Love jersey, a LeBron James jersey, a Tyler Hero Miami Vice sighting. I like that one. And a tumble from Jordan Love.
Oh, no. Hopefully
Bears fans watching tonight maybe let out a slight chuckle there. I think he's all right, thankfully.
You know, I thought our costumes in the pregame talk that was pretty good. The broadcast bandit and Sean McVay.
I got to give you credit, Teddy. I didn't know what to call myself. I was just a cowboy dressed up in some black clothes. You said the broadcast bandit, and it stuck. Nice wig, by the way. Looks just like Sean McVay's. As Miller's kick goes deep in the back of the end zone, let's meet the Washington starting defense.
Carter Prina, senior, defensive end.
Noah Bell, senior, D-line.
Kaufman, senior, defensive line. Joe Smith, junior, defensive end.
All right. Thomas Diedrich, senior, linebacker.
Carter Quinn, senior, linebacker.
Will Freeman, junior, linebacker.
Andre Lewis, senior, DB.
AJ Jones, junior, corner.
Dylan Brabson, senior, cornerback.
James Johnson, junior, safety.
Owen Klein, junior, free safety.
And so the Pirates take over at the 20. I'd have to guess, Teddy, that's where most of their drives may start tonight. Davis hit as he throws this, picked off. Will Freeman is going to take it uncontested. 1-2 combo for the Panthers right there.
That is the exact start this Washington team wanted. To get out early over a team like Morton you must have it, because this Morton team is going to scratch and claw for any chance they have. And that just set up a perfect situation to go up 14-3 with 4:16 left here in the first.
just like that, Morton goes up, or I should say Washington rather, goes up 14-3. Didn't see who got to him first, Teddy. I think it may have been Joe Smith or Hoffman. And that PAT is blocked by the Potters. Keeps it a 10-point game. And that's one of the first times that they've had a PAT either miss or get blocked. That turnover by Morton brought to you by Force Basements. But wow, 13 points in the span of 9 seconds. Just like Peoria High that we saw last week.
We talk about how high octane that Peoria High offense can be and defense as well, but this Washington team is as well-rounded as it comes, offensively, defensively, special teams, even though the block right there, you know, just overall, there's not very many ways you can beat this team.
Definitely not. And Will Freeman, again, major credit to him for just catching that ball. You know, linebackers don't always practice catching the ball that much. They're more concerned with tackling. But Freeman, first-year starter as a junior, going to be a bright spot for this Panthers defense, one of many, especially going into next year. And his job, Carter Quinn's job, and Evan Dacey's job tonight have gotten much more important as Washington's playing without their starting linebacker, Thomas Diedrich, out with an MCL injury, even though you saw him in the starting videos. Another touchback there for Washington. As let's take a look at Morton's head coach, Adam O'Neill. Again, we talked about Peoria High, and he is a disciple of that program. Coach for them under Tim Thornton. Won a state title with them in 2016, and then also won one in Manhattan, Kansas, the last year before he moved here to take over the Potters.
He definitely has the experience, and when you think about him coming from the Peoria High coaching tree, that explains a lot of what they do with this offense. They use a lot of their weapons. They're very creative with play calling, and that's why they've had so much success this year.
Run up the gut, gets across the 20 for the Potters, and you know, no team can really replicate Peoria High. I mean, they are their own extremely unique brand of football. But if any team can come close, or maybe appears like Peoria High, I'd say it's got to be Morton, just because of their variety of playmakers. They got 5, 6, 7 guys or more that can hurt you, and they're fast too. Isaac Davis, QB keeper up the middle, wrestled down across the 25. Looks like Prina took him down.
That was the first rush from Davis we've seen on the game. Obviously threw the interception last out, but his first rushing attempt is for a player that leads the team in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns with 12.
Not too often you see a quarterback lead the team in rushing, and Davis has done that this season, averaging over 10 yards per carry. 3rd and 4. From the 26. They're going to run it up the middle, and you're not going to go anywhere against that Washington front, especially up the gut. Few teams can.
Now it sets up a 4th and medium, but they've been really good, especially on that first drive, not the last drive, obviously, but that first drive converting really all season long. Been decently efficient on 3rd down conversions and 4th down conversions.
So 4th and 5, Adam O'Neill not going to roll the dice here. He'll punt it away, which is something that maybe Peoria High wouldn't do in this situation. The Lions hardly ever punt.
Initially, when they started setting the thing back, I thought it was 3rd down. A flag is thrown around the 50.
Way back by midfield. This might be in either all right, timeout rather, taken by Washington and their head coach Todd Stevens in his first season. You look at him so far, he's 6-2. I'm sure he wouldn't mind the fact that the graphic, even though it does say he's 6-1, but again, lost his first 2 games, won his last 6. He's got local ties, graduate of Princeton High School, a Class 3A powerhouse, but he is no stranger to Washington either. He spent 28 years on staff as an assistant, and now the main job is his.
Anytime you have a coaching change, I think a lot of questions are brought up about, will it be the same, especially if it's coming from a successful program like Washington. But when you have the history under the program and you really know the culture, and it's been really no drop-off this season with the chance to go undefeated in conference, a very successful first season for Todd Stevens.
And the players, they said earlier in the year that There are some similarities between him and Darryl Crouch, but he also likes to put his own twist on things as well. Punt is away by Trey Zobrist. It's a good one. Jones backtracks to the 35. Misses a leg tackle. Spins out and gets about 10 there on the return. Let's meet the Morton starting defense.
Ian Collins, senior, defensive end.
Miles Chafford, junior, D-line.
Rylan Tanner, senior, defensive end.
Gideon Snyder, senior, linebacker.
Paul Weeks, senior, linebacker.
Joe Lopko, junior, middle linebacker.
Mason Hoyland, senior, outside linebacker.
Silas Steffen, junior, corner.
Tate Sherman, junior, DB.
Cole Rinkenberger, senior, DB.
Ethan Johnson, senior, DB.
And so the Panthers start this drive at the 45 after that 10-yard return from Jones. Pass by Freeman. Humphrey took a lick, but still completed it. Freeman stayed in bounds. Chucks on forward. Has got a first down there, and now he's in positive receiving yards for the season. He came in with 2 catches, but for -4 yards before tonight.
The receiving game, that's his first real stat, but overall, 11 carries on the year with 9.3 yards per carry for Will Freeman. He's been maybe not as emphasized in the game, but when they have went to him, he's been a real contender.
Freeman's going to be a player to watch tonight again. We had our focus on Carter Quinn, but Will Freeman has been very impressive so far. 3 wide receivers for Humphrey, who was all right after that big hit. Toss play to Reed. Collins missed him, but Rinkenberger does not. Brings him down for a TFL, and there's multiple Potters helping him out.
Huge play by Morton's defense there. They talked in the interview, when we talked to Todd Stevens, or sorry, not Todd Stevens. We were talking earlier, throughout the week, about defensive formations for Morton. They definitely do a little bit differently than how Washington does it. They have a little bit more 4 linebackers instead of 3, and it's able to space out those gaps and try to limit those outside runs. Obviously, they had the success with the inside run to Reed on a couple drives ago that resulted in a touchdown, but nothing really outside has been going.
Yeah, Morton, a team that does well near the sidelines. Just to give here to Reed to recoup some of their first down losses. And it'll set up about a 3rd and medium. Rinkenberger again on the stop for Morton. He's got multiple tackles already. A couple catches too, and he's just so versatile for the Potters. You can make the case. Could be an all-conference player on either side of the ball.
Time winding down in the first quarter. Maybe a play or 2.
Hey, we'll have to run one more. Play clock is down to 8. And it'll be a keeper by the QB Humphrey. Runs across the 37. He's going to be awfully close. He may have got it by the initial look, Teddy. And it is a first down, Panthers. Humphrey showing off his running skills there, which he's done quite a bit in his 2-year tenure as the Washington starter. And that will bring us to the end of the opening frame here in Washington. A long touchdown run from Hunter Reed and a pick 6 by Will Freeman on the next play. Have the Panthers up 13-3. That first quarter brought to you by Sunflower Real Estate. Back after these messages in our WMBD Game of the Week on CIProud.com.
Family banking from a name you trust, Hometown Community Banks. For over 6 decades, we've been here right where you needed us. High-quality banking services delivered by caring professionals, people just like you who live and love Central Illinois. It's a history we're proud of and one we'll continue to offer to every person who walks through our doors. When you bank in your hometown, your money stays in your hometown. Hometown Community Banks, divisions of Morton Community Bank. Look for the clock tower and you'll know we have time for you.
Life happens. With Ashley's all-new high-performance furniture, you can relax. It's life-resistant. From messes and mishaps to snacks and spills, these pieces are easy to clean and durable. Plus, some styles feature machine-washable covers. So bring on the mess with a little less stress and discover high-performance furniture at Ashley.
Back back here for the second quarter at Babcook Field. Tyler Humphrey takes a high snap. He's going to keep this one again. Moving out across the 25, some nice blocks before he is brought down by Joe Lopko, player that's just gotten healthy over the last few games for Morton.
It's obviously good when you start to get your players back, especially going into a game that's so crucial with playoff implications.
Earlier in the season, we saw Potters back in week 4. It was Isaac Garza who was that fourth linebacker alongside Gideon Snyder, Mason Hoyland, and Paul Weeks. Now Lopko slots in for Morton. 2nd and 2. Heavy set formation. Plenty of blockers for Reed, who's got the first down and more. Pickup of 8 or 9. He lost the ball, but it was after his knee went down as the Potters allow Washington to get into the Ashley Furniture Home Store red zone.
John, one of the things I had written down for the game plan, I mean, obviously I'm not a coach, but just like my own insight, is Morton cannot afford to let Hunter Reed get to that second level, because once he breaks the defensive line and it's just him against some linebackers, he's a big kid, he's fast, you really got to be able to limit that in this game. And there's been a couple of dangerous runs. The first one that was a touchdown, and that one right there could have been something more.
It very well could have. 1st and 10 now from the 14 as Reed runs into a pile of defenders there. This is where Morton has to buckle down, Teddy. You can maybe give up the 3, but you do not want to go down 20-3 on the road, especially in a game where you're fighting for your playoff life.
That would set up an extremely difficult second half and rest of the second quarter as well, that they try to claw back from it. We have seen it done before, but you don't want to be in that situation to begin with, like you said.
2nd and 7. Washington, again, content with some long clock-chewing drives. As they call Reed's number again. Gets a big push up to about the 6 or so. He'll set up a 3rd and 2. I wonder what it's like being Hunter Reed, Teddy. We see him so often this year. Just kind of runs into a pile of people and just able to get some push from those guys like Cash Wisher, Sean Thornton, and Jackson Stewart.
When you have such a strong offensive line like that, I guarantee you he goes in with as much confidence as possible, because you know they're going to create a gap for you to run, and that's why they've been so successful running the ball. About 201 average rushing yards per game on the season, and obviously a lot of that's thanks to Hunter Reed, but the offensive line gets the job done as well.
So 3rd and 2 here. Huge play for the Morton defense. It's like they're in a man setup. Reed keeps the legs moving. He's got the first down. Can they keep him out of the end zone? No, they can't. Hunter Reed is undeniable. And there's his 2nd of the night.
Another strong outing by Reed in the Washington Panthers offense. Just week after week now, every time we've seen them or just looked at the scoreboard, if we're doing other games, you can just tell exactly what they're doing. They stick to their game plan, and they are darn good at it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So Miller's point after is not blocked this time. And that makes it 22-3 in favor of the home Panthers. Scoring drive again brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. I'm trying to think how many touchdowns we've seen Hunter Reed score this year, Teddy. We saw him back in week 7. I think he had all 4 of Washington's touchdowns that night. And we saw him against Metamora in week 3. I know he had another multi-TD game.
I just want to point out as well, that point after attempt was well over the scoreboard and into a practice field, I'm assuming. So not only can they run the ball well, this is a team we mentioned that has a phenomenal kicker with Devin Miller.
He's got to be careful. The Washington Panthers' 12th man trailer is set up back there. You can't see it. It's so dark out right now, but it was earlier. They were selling some merch. Final game of the regular season. Again, we haven't talked about this much for Washington, Teddy, but a win tonight, very likely, not 100% guarantee, very likely, though, sets up hosting in the first round of the playoffs.
And that's super crucial. Anytime you can have the backing of a community like this, as we can see just how many fans are packed in here to Babcook Field. The ball is loose there.
And this could be Washington ball, a costly miscue for Morton. It is Panther football at the 6. Morton can't recover it. They may not be able to recover this lead if they're not able to keep Washington out of the end zone here.
This is a nightmare situation if you're Morton. This is not something they want to be dealing with a chance to go down 4 scores.
And talk about a nightmare situation. Babcook Field has been sort of a haunted house as of late for the visiting teams. 2014 was Morton's last win here at Babcook Field, and Washington again has only allowed less than 10 points per game here this season. You also see their home record lasts about half a decade or so.
If you're any team, you don't want to come here to Washington because you know the environment, but especially if you're a Mid-Illini team, there hasn't been a Mid-Illini team that has won at Babcook Field since September 29th, 2018. That was Dunlap. That is insane to think that it's been that long since a team has come here in the Mid-Illini and beat the Panthers.
That is crazy to think. Down to the 3 was, guess who? Hunter Reed. Now Reed up to 18 touchdowns on the year, and maybe he can smell number 19. Morton's defensive line and their front 7 in general needs to step up here, but again, so tough against this Washington O-line that's one of the biggest in the conference. And it looked like there was some movement, possibly on Morton. That is an encroachment. Looks like that was on the nose tackle, Miles Chaffer. So I'll move it down to about the 1.5 yard line.
Perfect situation for the Panthers to go up potentially 26-3 on a touchdown. Not a situation you want to be in if you're Morton. Last year they took a loss to Washington as well, 42-21, and so far it's looking like this could be even worse than last year if they don't make a change.
And there's a flag this time on the offense, so let's move them right back. Washington averages about 5 penalties per game. I'd say it's a pretty standard number, still pretty good. Washington averaging 30 points per game as well. They could reach that here in the first half potentially. So it'll be 2nd and goal from the 6. Some extra blockers, including tight end Carter Prina, is in there. Reed runs it to the left side. He's got blocks. He's got his 3rd of the night and 2nd in the span of 2 minutes.
Unbelievable start for Hunter Reed. On that play, it was a little confusing on why. There was wide receiver on the left side with the tight end back, and a couple Morton linebackers went to the opposite side, maybe expecting a flip, but it just went right to the right. Reed on the left side, and Reed was able to run it in for 6.
Reed does like running to the left side, especially in the red zone. Feels like a lot of them kind of come that direction, running behind Josh Hofer, their left tackle. And Miller's kick may have hit the scoreboard there. I know some fans were hoping it did, and why not show off the leg a little extra?
Yeah, this kid, when you think of point after attempts, it's not necessarily an exciting part of football. But at the high school level, it's so fun because you rarely see a kicker that successful. He's just been a pleasant treat when you go and watch these Washington games. He's just an added factor.
It is a luxury to have a strong kicker. Scoring drive again, brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. Visit one of their many area locations. So Morton, they just got in not just one 1-2 punch. They got it in the first quarter. They also just received one again. Going back to that kick, I think they probably just assumed that Miller would just boom it into the end zone, but he caught him off guard. Not sure if it was by design or not, but said, hey, I'm going to try and make you return this one. They couldn't even pick up the football.
Definitely a little bit of a blunder there. You got to clean up on special teams because you mentioned in the pregame, Washington isn't just a team that's good offensively, defensively. They have a strong special teams as well, so it takes all 3 levels to really come out on top.
You're going to look at Reed's numbers. He's running towards a potential first-team all-conference season. This kick brought in by Julian Alexander at the 1. Gets one guy to miss. Brought down before the 20. That's even better than a touchback for the Panthers. As now Isaac Davis takes the field again. It feels like we've barely even seen him since that strong first drive that they had. They'll need more of that.
Yeah, they resulted with 3 points on the first drive and didn't come up with 6, but still looked really successful. Haven't really gotten a chance to see that after the interception that was taken back for a touchdown, the kickoff that was muffed. Kind of an unfortunate start by the Potters, but, their destiny is within, the pen of their own hands. They have the choice of how they want to ride it and try to get back into this game.
A team that has gone against the odds for the last 3 weeks. They were 1-4, but now they're 4-4 and still alive for a playoff spot. Handoff went to Cole Rinkenberger, pickup of 2. He had 2 rushing touchdowns last week and has 5 rushing scores on the year. That's second on the team.
That play there was kind of dangerous, almost indicative of another play that happened a couple drives ago where resulted in a near fumble. It's like a late snap on the motion. Got to be careful with those if you're Morton.
5 wide for Davis. Pass is complete. Alexander, I believe. That was not Alexander, rather. That was Rinkenberger.
Heard his name over and over at this point in the game. They've just kept going to him. He's been the guy that's answered.
Isaac Davis, man, throwing it to him has been strong this year as well. First down. Alexander now in motion. They'll go up the middle. Buffington had a head of steam, and this ran right into a defender. That was Will Freeman. Calling a lot of the same guys' names tonight, Teddy. Will Freeman, Cole Rinkenberger, Hunter Reed, our big 3 so far tonight.
They've all made a presence in this game. Kind of interesting to see, when is Morton going to really start branching out? Obviously depends on who's opened on the given play, but one of the things that makes them so dangerous is just the amount of weapons they have. 5 different players getting receiving touchdowns, 8 different players with rushing touchdowns on the season. See how they can see it tonight.
Alexander in motion again. Buffington has got the first down and some blockers. Buffington down the sideline inside the 40. A pickup of 33 on 2nd and 8. There's some life for the visitors.
Just definitely crucial for them. Shondon Buffington is a player where last season was incredibly successful, had a lot of carries, a lot of rushing yards, and some touchdowns as well. He was so crucial for the Morton team last year. He's been a little bit slower this season. It seemed like he was dealing with some maybe minor injuries here and there, but it's good to see him get incorporated in the game here.
Davis keeps it this time, appended near his pelvis and pops up just fine. Again, Teddy, this is still a 3-possession game, given you have to go for 2 every time, make it. But even though it's 27-3 in the first half, this game is still within reach with lots of football left to be played. Don't want to forget about that.
And of all the teams that could do it, it would definitely be this Morton team. We've kind of seen this score. Go ahead.
Option play goes to Rinkenberger. He nearly got back to the line and was lucky to do so. Panthers all over that in the backfield.
Like I was saying, we've kind of seen this score just based off their record this year, starting off, 1-4, and then having to battle their way back. And we could definitely see that in this game because of all the teams that could make a comeback against this Washington team. It would definitely be the Morton Potters with how much adversity they've dealt with this year.
3rd and 9. Morton's been good in these situations tonight. Davis looking at a man in the flat. He's going deep down the field. It's in and out of the hands. And he was going for Rinkenberger there. Just couldn't quite drop it in.
Looked like he had Buffington on the bubble route to the outside and passed it up for the deep ball. Can't say I blame him. Had a chance there of going for 6, but now it sets up a 4th and long.
Especially in Washington territory, I would agree with O'Neill's decision here to go for this. 4th and 9, got 4 wide receivers. You got Sander at the bottom of your screen, Rinkenberger in the slot, Silas Steffen, and Julian Alexander. Davis in trouble, looking to create. He's got some speed. He's down to about the 27-26, and wasn't quite there to the 6. Washington takes over.
Good play by Davis, able to get out of the collapsing pocket, just wasn't able to get around the edge there to try to get the first down. So it's Washington ball again. This is a crucial drive from Morton's defense. They really got to step it up.
Let's take a look at the Mid-Illini Conference champions over the last few years. Oh, there's some scarecrows. Did you get frightened at all, Teddy? 2015, 2016, again, last time that there were repeat outright conference champions. Pekin shared the conference title in 2021 and won it in 2022, but shared it with Morton back in 2021. Dunlap in there with a few as well. Washington won it last year. Handoff on first down for Washington, and they have a good drive here, Teddy, again. Could potentially run out the rest of this clock and potentially get another score, but they're in good position. They don't need to score a ton. They just need to hang on to the football tonight.
They play smart, smart football and just able to keep the ball out of the hands of the playmakers of Morton. Already have set up a crucial situation for them.
2nd and 9. Humphrey will throw, and that one just grazed the turf before it found the hands. Looking for Caden Chadwick there. Came into tonight with just 3 receptions on the year. Washington doesn't pass a ton. Something they're looking to kind of add more of before the playoffs. And, hey, up 27-3. Last dress rehearsal before the postseason. Don't mind throwing a ton there.
Definitely give your guys a little bit of different experiences. You're already up, Try some things out that you already want to incorporate in the postseason.
They'll probably incorporate plays like this. Hunter Reed, but Morton was ready for it. And again, it's Cole Rinkenberger, the senior for Morton, making big plays. And now it brings up an obvious punting situation for the hosts.
We say Rinkenberger's a name a lot on offense, but defensively he's also a guy that can really step up and match the energy brought to you by the Washington rushing offense.
So Morton will send Alexander back to receive this punt from Joe Smith, who again is also a starting defensive end for Washington. Smith averages about 34 yards per punt. And Washington will take a timeout called by Todd Stevens here. And as Morton gets the football, Teddy, again, they're always scary with the ball in their hands, and they've been putting a scare in teams pretty recently. Their average win margin this season, 38 points, highest scoring offense in the Mid-Illini, and their defense has been very stout these last 3 games.
Yeah, when you look at their record, I think a lot of people just think of them as maybe a middle-of-the-pack team. But when you look at the teams they've played early on, the teams that they lost to, the 2 Mid-Illini teams they lost to was very narrow. Other than those and the 2 first games of the season, they have been electrifying offensively and defensively. That's why it was so hyped up going into this game of a 4-4 team and a 6-2 team.
And we were there in week 4 when they dropped a game to Metamora by 3 points. They were driving in the 4th quarter with a chance to win and just came up short. Smith's punt is a very high one. Takes a Morton roll and it's down at the 42. That's only going to go officially as a 13-yard punt. So opportunity here for Morton to get a score before the halftime buzzer.
Great field position. One thing I want to mention, when we talked to head coach Todd Stevens of the Washington Panthers, he mentioned for Morton, they are fighting for their football lives in this game. And, this is a chance we can really start to see it. That's the first defensive stop they've gotten. And now offensively, that might get you a little bit more motivation to try to get back into this game and start crawling back.
They'll take over in great field position. And 4 wide receivers. Lots of options for Davis. He's got a wide open man. It's Silas Steffen. No one's home, and Steffen gets in for 6. What a catch and what a throw from Isaac Davis to Silas Steffen. As Teddy got so excited by that play, your spotting board fell out the window.
Flew out the crack of the window. We got it back. We recovered it.
Appreciate the kind fan that brought it back, but wow, what a throw. No one was there for the Washington secondary. That's been a strong unit for them this year, but Morton, great play call there on the first play of the drive. Low snap and hold, but the kick by Kaser is up and good. That makes it 27-10, so still a 3-score game, but great opportunity there for the Potters. Scoring drive brought to you by Papa John's. And Teddy, if Morton can get another stop, they have, I think, all 3 of their timeouts still. They could call some timeouts, get the ball back, and make this potentially a 10-point game, even by halftime.
That's why we couldn't count them out at all. We talked about how, crucial it would be if they let up another score, but thanks to that defensive stop that they had, they know they can do that, and obviously the score there sets them up in better situation than what they were a couple minutes ago, and that's kind of what we expect out of this Morton team.
We greatly appreciate your assistance and cooperation in this matter.
27-10 now after that touchdown pass from Davis to Silas Steffen. Steffen's 3rd of the season. A little bit of a kind of in-betweener kick there from Kaser. Evan Dacey keeping it to the outside, and he's strung out at the 40 before he's brought down by Joe Lopko. And, for Morton, Teddy, I noticed again when I was talking with their head coach, Adam O'Neill, he's got a hat on. And on the hat, it has something stitched on there. It's E plus R equals O. That stands for effort plus response equals outcome. And, hey, great effort, great response there. Turns out to a great outcome. That math won't fail you.
We'll see how they can continue that throughout the rest of the game. It's really kind of that response aspect of it, because Washington has put their own response on things early on. We'll see how Morton can combat that and what outcome comes from it.
Morton continues their strong response as a lot of Potters there, and on that stop, Joe Lopko again making a nice play. It's so fun when these two teams face off, Teddy. Regardless of the sport, boys basketball is going to be a great matchup coming up soon. Not too far away, believe it or not. And girls basketball, probably even better. 2 great head coaches, too, with Bob Becker, Kim Barth. These are going to be 2 of the top teams in the area for that.
2 just very good overall programs, not just football teams.
A.J. Jones, I think, got that toss, and it takes a couple Potters to wrap him down. It'll be 3rd and about 4 or so. Jones is a player that also likes to get involved in the run game. He's got 7 carries for 86 yards this season. He's just an all-around athlete, Teddy. I mean, we saw what he did on defense against Max Sutter here 2 weeks ago.
It was really phenomenal how Washington was able to just completely shut down the Max Sutter in that game. Obviously, A.J. Jones, Andre Lewis were a big factor in those games. But yeah, give credit to A.J. Jones defensively, offensively. He really knows how to get it done on either side of the ball.
And Washington, it looks like they're just going to let this play clock bleed down and then probably take their 3rd timeout, and they do so with 1:02 left. So now here, Teddy, if you're Morton, you get a stop. You played it a bit conservative with your timeouts. You let Washington go down, but the good thing is, if you get a stop, you have 3 stoppages to work with, plus you got the out of bounds, and you got the clock stopping on 1st down, too.
Definitely the added factor, saving your timeouts. Washington used them up. Didn't necessarily need them with the 17-point lead, but gives a little bit of advantage to the Potters here with 1:02 left here in the second.
And again, A.J. Jones, just a junior, receiving lots of college interest, including at the D1 level. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to do next year. He's probably going to have a quarterback change with Humphrey. He is a senior and graduating. He'll take the snap here, under center on 3rd and 4. He might have got Morton to jump there. It's encroachment on Morton. That gives Washington a 1st down. That is just a killer there for the Potters.
And that practically just ends it for the first half for Morton. They won't see the ball, but Washington sets up a good position for them because they not only have the rest of this drive, but they also start with the ball in the second half.
They certainly do. That's something to keep an eye on. Though Morton does have all 3 of their timeouts, they still could get the ball back. Humphrey looking to throw deep, looking for Jones. Oh, what a grab! A.J. Jones, can you believe it? On the sideline and hauled it in.
John, not only the ability to bring the catch in, but also to get his feet down to count it inbounds. Unbelievable play by A.J. Jones. We just talked about him. I think that was a good broadcaster's jinx there because that set up a crazy play.
What a catch from Jones, and one of the best balls I've seen from Humphrey, arguably in his whole career, and that's been saying something as well. Washington, though, has to go, and they have no timeouts left. Let's looking to spike here, it looks like. Clock under 30, and they do clock it with 25 seconds even on the clock. And Jones was being defended by Silas Steffen, who's a great athlete in his own right, also a basketball player for Morton, and pretty tall as well at 6'2". Great placement by Tyler Humphrey there.
That kind of flipped the script of things a little bit. When they were about at the 50, Washington was kind of running the clock out, trying not to give any opportunity to Morton. They know they have their timeouts. And now they're running hurry up, and Morton's not calling their timeouts. They don't want to call it because they don't want to give Washington a chance to score again before the half.
Big key for the Potters here is just tackling them in bounds and tackle them short of the sticks. Reed is in the backfield. Jones at the bottom of your screen. Humphrey looking Jones's direction. In the back corner. He brought it in! Wow! What a catch from Jones! Not one but two, and Washington tacks on 6 before the half.
This kid is something special. Yes, you can give credit to Tyler Humphrey. Beautiful thrown ball on not only that one, but also the play before. But A.J. Jones was the median of how you brought it in. He went up with the defender in his face, came down with it, 2 consecutive plays, 2 huge plays for Washington to end the second quarter with a score.
Point after is good. We talk about Washington's 1-2 punches. There was that long touchdown run from Reed, then the pick 6 from Freeman. And there was another touchdown from Reed before he got one 2 minutes later. And then there's the 1. Can Washington get the 2 after the halftime break? They'll get the ball here when the second half kicks off. And my word, Teddy, that was just beautiful football right there. I could not believe he brought that in. He had just inches, even centimeters of space to work with.
Unbelievable. The one on the sideline I thought was crazy enough. I was like, okay, that might be the catch of the game. A play later, besides the spike, and you get that. Just unbelievable how talented that was. I think a lot of times when we talk about Washington, we kind of primarily talk about their run game, but when they need to, like we just saw, they can bring out a deep bag in the passing game.
They certainly can, and boy, we talked about them wanting to nail down that passing game. Well, I think they just did so on that drive. Phenomenal tosses and catches from Humphrey to Jones. Kick is going to be brought in at the 8. It's Alexander on the return. He's wrapped up at the 25. Clock is still running. That was a generous bleed of the clock there. I think there was probably more accurately about 11 or 12 seconds left, but still probably only time for about 2 plays for Morton if you go quick. What sort of a play do you call here, Teddy? I mean, 8 seconds left. You do have a timeout. Do you go for a screen, hope he breaks it loose, just go for a Hail Mary?
I think with what Washington's been showing you with the cover one safety back, and how you resulted that last scoring drive, you definitely could try to go deep, but they do go for the screen.
And go for the screen. Just pick up something here. And Morton calls a timeout with 1 second to go. Alexander brought in that catch for a gain of 6. So, again, Morton can go deep in the playbook. Todd Stevens was expecting them to just throw everything out there. I did happen to see when I was at practice on Thursday near the tail end, and Morton was working on some hook and ladder plays. Said, could we see that here?
It's likely. I think if you're Washington, you got to switch it up a little bit. They're so good at defending the run, but you almost know for sure they're not going to run it. and if they do, you can get to them pretty quickly. I say you drop a safety back, maybe move a linebacker back, and then try to get like a man on every guy instead of having one safety to prevent that deep throw.
And stay tuned for halftime. We'll have the Bob Grimm Chevrolet halftime show coming up. Some special guests we'll be talking to, and also talking about some halftime scores from around the area and much more. So grab a drink and grab some snacks. Don't go anywhere. Last play of the first half. Davis is looking long for Alexander. Is batted away. Morton wanted a flag there, but Andre Lewis, great coverage there, and the Panthers take a 24-point lead into the locker room. Teddy, what a statement of a first half.
Huge statement at that, and just credit to Washington for, we knew what they were going to do going into this game. They're going to stick to their run game. Besides the passing touchdown, they're going to stick to their run game. Dominant defense with, trying to create pressure, which they have done successfully, one resulting in the interception by Davis. But overall, the Morton was the big question. What's Morton going to do going into this game? And although they have done a few things successfully, overall Washington has done a great job at just limiting that stuff. They talked about throwing some stuff into practice to, kind of assume what they're going to do. And if that's what they've done a great job at that because they have a huge 24-point lead going into the half.
Definitely. Well, Halloween not too far away. Scary situation for Morton. Down by 24, needing a win to get into the playoffs. Tall task for them in the second half. We'll see what they have in store. We'll take a quick break here from Washington to come back with our Bob Grimm Chevrolet halftime show after this. That second quarter brought to you by United Way. Back after these messages on CIProud.com.
At Papa John's, we start with better. Like taking marinated oven-roasted chicken and tossing it in our hot lemon pepper sauce. Or how we hand toss our fresh, never frozen signature dough made from 6 simple ingredients. And now our dough can save you dough when you order from the Papa Pairings menu. Get 2 or more Papa Pairings favorites for just $6.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Order now on the app.
Michael's Italian Feast, home of the best subs, pizza bread, grilled cheese, and Italian beef fry. The best pile-high subs and hot sandwiches in Central Illinois. And no one has better homemade, always fresh from the oven bread. Michael's Italian Feast.
Start your career working in the electrical industry with great wages, benefits including guaranteed retirement income, paid health care, dental, vision, 401k, and more. We have positions open now with IBEW Local 34. Be a part of the electrical team on the front lines of the electrical revolution. Join us on the cutting edge of training in new electrical technology. Contact us today at PeoriaJATC.com.
Luxury real estate requires drone video, 3D virtual tour, and professional photography. You deserve the Adam Merrick's signature marketing experience.
Hi, I'm Webb. I'm the sales manager here at Perfect Choice. We offer windows, siding, roofing, and full bathroom remodels. Whenever you buy a bathroom off of Perfect Choice, something that we do is we don't just walk in and give you one color and one style like a lot of companies in our area do. One of the coolest things is we have a program that allows you to put the pictures and see the colors and actually visualize what you're gonna get before you ever purchase it. But regardless of how long it takes, that it's gonna be done by certified labor and done the right way, our way, Perfect Choice way.
The heart of Illinois needs volunteers, and you can make a difference. Be part of a global community of people who care. Discover the joy and satisfaction that comes with improving your community and the lives of the people living in it. United Way connects volunteers who are ready to work with opportunities in the local area, driving real change made by individuals like you. Join United Way in improving the lives and communities around us all. Sign up today at volunteer.hoyunitedway.org.
If you're remodeling your home, make sure you choose quality flooring from Ralph's Floor Fashions. We have tile, vinyl, and carpet. Plus, we offer custom installations and repairs. Visit Ralph's Floor Fashions today to see everything we have available.
And welcome back to Washington. The Panthers leading 34-10, looking to lock up their second straight outright Mid-Illini Conference title. 3 first-half touchdowns from Hunter Reed, pick 6 from Will Freeman, and a great 17-yard catch from A.J. Jones from Tyler Humphrey. Morton Touchdown from Silas Steffen, 41 yards, and a 39-yard field goal by Dane Kaser. Back to kick off this game. But speaking of kicking, I got the chance to catch up with Washington kicker Devin Miller, school record holder now in terms of longest field goal and a crucial part of the third phase for the Panthers. Have a listen. I'm here with Washington kicker Devin Miller, a crucial part of the Washington special teams and a big part of their offense as well. Devin, I know you love coming out the field for extra points, but I want to start off talking about that field goal you had 2 weeks ago, 52 yards, school record. Take me through that kick for you.
Yeah, well, we got down to the 35. I knew that I've been preaching 52 yards all season, so been wanting to get that school record. When we got there, I knew we threw 2 passes. There was one that was really close, and I was like, "Whew, man!" And then we missed both passes, and I was like, I heard the PAT field goal, and I got out there. I knew I could make it. Do every kick the same.
Definitely, and did you know that 52 was the school record going into that kick?
Yeah, we've been preaching all year. 52 yards. Yep.
Also, well, obviously that was a huge kick to give your team a 17-0 lead heading into the locker room against a good Dunlap team. Obviously, you guys won that game. You guys won last week as well against Canton. And just overall, I know, again, like we said, been on the field for many PATs. Overall, I know you're not on the field maybe as often as the other guys. What's the season just been like from your perspective?
I mean, it's great. I love watching the guys. The energy is amazing. That's what I love about football, really. And especially when I can get some points on the board, I love helping out the team doing that.
And then, Devin, I know that, special teams, some people overlook it sometimes, but obviously it's, again, still a very crucial part of the game. Who are some other guys on special teams that have done their jobs this year besides yourself?
Well, I mean, snap hold is a very important part. Got to give props to our snapper, Jake Goff, and my holder, Jack Maley. We haven't had a missed snap or a bad hold really this year yet, so.
Definitely, and obviously, Devin, I know coming into the season, you quit soccer to focus on football full-time. Talk to me a bit about that decision and why you decided to do that.
Yeah, so I spent my whole summer doing camps for football and practicing a lot more up in Chicago, really. And it was really a decision of spending my time in mental strain and physical strain on my body. I didn't really want to I wanted to focus on football and do what's best for myself for football.
Definitely, and obviously I know that a lot of people were clamoring for you to get some college looks after that 52-yard kick. Have you got any after that look, and maybe do you have any going even before that one big kick?
Well, I mean, not really. I mean, I've gone to a couple colleges on visits, game day visits, but I mean, as long as I stay consistent on my kicks and hit them in the end zone, I mean, should work out in the end.
Definitely. And last question for you, Devin. I know that a lot of people do say special teams is important, but I want to ask the special teamer himself, why is it so important?
I mean, especially getting those points on the board. When we went up 17, that all the momentum we had all that momentum going into the half.
Definitely. Well, Devin Miller looking to give his team some more momentum here in tonight's game against Morton. Should be a good one. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Thank you, John. And Teddy Ball back here in the booth, joined alongside Jacob Anderson, Morton golfer, finished 21st in the state on the state tournament this year. Jacob, overall, a very successful season. What are your initial reflections quickly after the season?
Oh, yeah, with Nathan Throder, his first year as a golf coach, it was just a blast. I mean, he knew how to make the golf team season fun. I mean, throughout the entire season, I had fun. He made it, the practices light, he made them easy, but at the same time, he made us improve on what we needed to improve on.
When we were talking before the interview, it seemed like you truly did enjoy the season, like you just mentioned. You started in 8th grade, which is a little bit later than some other people definitely do. Some people started like 2-3 years old, like you mentioned. And so, with how fun of a season it was, just how much did that help you developing your skills throughout the year?
Oh, yeah, with how fun he made it seem, I'm just going out every day, practicing 2-3 hours every day, hitting the range, playing 9 holes, chipping around the putting green. I mean, he just made it seem like the entire time it was a joy, not work. And that's where I really improved on, because I was never tired of it.
It's definitely a positive, and, the season just wrapped up. Like we mentioned, you finished 21st at state. Mm-hmm. Overall, the state tournament, what was your, kind of some things about that? How much did you enjoy it, and just how did you do overall?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously that first tee, I was very nervous. That was my first time being at it. I had no idea what to do. had a decent tee shot, but then after that, my coach was just like, you know what? This is your last season. You're a senior. Just enjoy it. And that's what I really tried to do. I tried to go out there. Every shot, I tried to go out there and enjoy it. And just have my absolute fun out there. And just every shot, I tried to make the most out of it.
Had a very successful season. Looking forward, are you looking at continuing golf somewhere else? Are you looking to play in college, or just overall, what are your plans for the future?
Oh, absolutely. I try to maybe go Division III or maybe just a junior college. I just want to continue my golf career and just make the most out of it.
We definitely wish the best for you in that regard. One more question I want to ask you, just for this Morton team, a little bit different from golf to the gridiron, but for the Morton team this second half, are you giving me any tips for yourself or for them?
Just make the most of it. This may be their last, for the seniors, maybe their last football game, And as much as you want to think this is a live or die game, this is your senior season. Just you want to enjoy it and make sure you remember it.
Thank you, Jacob. And obviously, the team won't be able to hear that, but I'm sure it'll be felt in the heart of the locker room. And they have a second half to try to get back into this one. Teddy Ball alongside Jacob Anderson. Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations
Thank you very
on a
much,
great
sir.
golf season. We're going to send it back to some more sponsors.
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps coverage in Central Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams,
Your stories. Your stats and standings.
your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts. As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better.
With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds. CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action. More stories.
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
And welcome back to Washington. Jonathan Michael and Teddy Ball here in the booth with you. So nice to have Jacob Anderson, one of the area's premier golfers, stop on by. Washington also had a very strong golf season as well. They won sectionals and made it to state. Gavin Schroers and I believe Court Bohannon was the other golfer that made the cut for the Panthers and finished very well for head coach Dan Garsky's team. So a major shout out to them as well. Teddy, some interesting scores around the area. It's a loaded week 9. Lots of great games. Normal Community and Peoria High. That game for the Big 12 title. Our John Camosa is there live reporting at that game. Community up 26-12. Our small town throwdown game, which Owen Dimple has on ClutchSportsIL.com, is also a close one. DMAC only leading Ridgeview Lexington 14-8. Chiefs need a win to get into the playoffs.
Two very big games. DMAC, they're up right now, and they have a chance to really solidify that playoff spot. Kind of a similar situation to what we're seeing here, but besides Morton being down. But DMAC, a fun team to follow all season long, and they're up right now, but it's still early. Halftime, still a whole half to go. We'll see how that one turns out.
Definitely, and also in Mid-Illini action, probably our second biggest game, at least coming in tonight. Dunlap and Metamora, huge game for postseason seeding. The Eagles looking for a bounce back, and they lead Metamora 14-12. That would be a huge win for Brett Caslett's team to get some momentum heading into the postseason. And also East Peoria. Don't forget about the Raiders. A lot of people wrote them off, but they could get in the playoffs with a win tonight, and they only trail Pekin by 8 right now.
They're playing them really close. Pekin's obviously a really good team, and they talked about going into this game, if Washington loses and Pekin won, it would be a shared title. That just shows how good Pekin is, and so for East Peoria to stay with them, it gives a lot of credit to them on a chance of getting into the playoffs.
some very close scores. It's going to be a fun night when we get back and see what the finals were. Again, we'll have all of those highlights and scores, top performers for you. You can catch that tomorrow morning in the Roundup, which we'll publish again on CSM Overtime. Daily roundups, by the way, of all the scores, all the sports, top performers from around the area. Big weekend. You got regional cross country tomorrow. Got some playoff soccer going on this weekend as well. But Teddy, some other scores around the area as well. A lot of close games. Fieldcrest trails Hayworth 28-22. That's a good battle. El Paso Gridley leading Clinton 14-6. Also in the heart of Illinois. Small school action, Olympia up on Auburn, 39-22. Tie game between Andawan, Weathersfield, and Princeville, 21 all in the third quarter. We had our eyes on that game.
Yeah, Princeville has been a team all season long. You look at them and feel like they're just almost unbeatable. But, you know, a game like that, week 9, you got to keep your eye on it because it can go either way.
Talk about a team that looks unbeatable. Normal U-High up 56-0 on Lanphier at the half. Stark County, who's 7-1, is tied with Monmouth United, who's winless at the half right now. 14-14. Boy, Teddy, you see that score, and you're just like, it must be the witching hour or something like that, because all sorts of crazy things are happening. Manual on the road leading at Champaign Central 14-13. Richwoods trails Muhammad Seymour 42-0. Bloomington Central Catholic locked in a close game with Prairie Central in the Illini Prairie. Saints lead that one 14-12 right now. Eureka, a nail-biter against Shelbyville, 7-0 in the third quarter.
Eureka, that game is, you know, third quarter, 7 points are the only ones that have been scored. It's kind of unfamiliar from Eureka, my apologies. They've just been such a high profile team all season long, offensively, defensively, and you know they took a loss last week, their first loss of the year, and they have a chance of possibly losing this one too if they don't get on it.
Real quick, one more score for you. Canton is winning the battle of the winless teams right now, 28-6 at Limestone. We'll take a quick break here from Washington and come back with the second half. Potters trailing 34-10 here at Babcook Field.
That mountain of boxes won't pack itself, but Peoria Production Solutions will. Let us handle your packaging and assembly. Our highly trained team uses computerized inventory control and specialized equipment to ensure your customers receive their items on time. Let us help you grow and scale your business. Give us a call or visit peoriapros.com for a quote today.
The Bob Grimm way starts with us.
The Bob Grimm experience, what I like is that, you know, you put customers first, make sure we meet every expectation and make a long-lasting relationship with them so that, you know, they know that we're here for them and for their friends and family.
Don't try to put someone in a car that is not going to work for them. If you don't have what they want, try to get it, the proper vehicle. Again, just treat people the way you'd want to be treated and a fair deal.
That's the Bob Grimm way.
Passionate, focused, strong, qualities that you look for in a great athlete, and also a great lawyer. At Strong Law Offices, injury law is at the heart of what we do. Our team is on your side. When the game is on the line, let us tackle your claim.
From the very beginning, she was my support, my cheerleader, always giving me the best she could. Now it's my time to find the best for her, and that started with a call to Shannon Fauner, Sunflower Real Estate Group. Their lifestyle transition experts became part of our family, working with us to find the right fit for Mom, making sure she was ready, and getting her excited for her new home. Shannon Fauner, Sunflower Real Estate Group, the key piece to your puzzle.
When storms move through, bringing torrential downpours, do you worry, is my basement flooding? Leave those worries behind and protect your home by installing a basement dewatering system. Force Basement Solutions has over 30 years of experience, and our team of experts will guide you in choosing the best and most cost-effective dewatering system to fit your home's needs. Rest easy with a Force Basement Solutions dewatering system.
Sam Lehman of Morton, the #1 Ram truck dealer in Illinois. Ram Power Days is back. Don't miss it. This month, take over $15,000 off 2025 Ram 1500s and all heavy-duty crew cabs. And during Jeep Adventure Days, take $12,000 off MSRP on all Grand Cherokee and Grand Cherokee L Limiteds. Plus, save over $16,000 on a brand new Jeep Wrangler. All here at Sam Lehman of Morton, where we do the deals no one else will.
And welcome back to Washington. Briefly missed the kickoff, but Hunter Reed returned it out to the 36 for Washington, where Panthers will look to extend their lead past 24, where it stands right now, Teddy. And if you're the Potters, I don't know how many more points you could afford to allow in the rest of this game.
Yeah, they had a good stop in the third. Almost thought they broke one out there, but they had a good stop in the third quarter to maybe potentially bring it back within 17, and then they let Washington get back in the end zone on thanks to a touchdown pass to A.J. Jones. But you've shown the ability to stop it, but you just got to be consistent with it at this point in the game.
And I think time of possession has been a big key in this game as well. Talking about the first half again, Morton had a nice drive, a lot of quick hitters with Isaac Davis to his receivers that first drive that ended in a field goal. But since then, it feels like we haven't really seen Davis and the Morton offense that much, and when they have been on the field, they've been pretty good. It's just they haven't been able to be on the field much. Second down handoff. Reed going untouched. He's off to the races. Just Johnson and Steffen to beat. There is number 4 high kicking Hunter Reed. What a whale of a ball game he's had.
The 4th touchdown of the night for Hunter Reed. Excellence on display today. But, on that one there, you got to give credit to the right tackle of Washington, Josh Hoffer, with the block there on Tate Sherman, the corner from Morton. Just kind of set him off balance there, created the gap for Reed to be able to take it back to the house.
Jackson Stewart, their right guard, also having some blocks, and that, speaking of blocks, that kick is blocked, so Washington maybe wanting to clean up the PAT unit a little bit. That snap was a little bit low and made the hold a little bit tough as well.
A few positives we can take from it. That's the second time they've been able to stop the Washington's point after attempt, but got to do more than that if you want to stay in this game. Now a 30-point deficit.
Looking tough right now for the Potters. Scoring drive brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. That was Hunter Reed's 20th touchdown of the 2024 season. It's kind of hard to, quantify, okay, what is a great season versus a good season versus an excellent season. And I think if you get 20 touchdowns in the regular season, at least puts you in the great season category. That's probably a goal for some of the best area running backs, getting over 2 a game.
You see 20 touchdowns in a season on NFL films documentaries about players before they went to the NFL. That's the type of stuff you see 20 touchdowns in a season. He has been the guy for this offense, and they have a lot of playmakers. Like we saw A.J. Jones, the receiver, other guys like Will Freeman who can, when he gets the ball, he's able to be successful. But Hunter Reed has just been that guy for them. Number 20 on the team with 20 touchdowns on the year.
Good times here in Washington. Panthers can smell back-to-back conference titles as Julian Alexander takes back this kick, and not much doing. Special teams for the Panthers and the coverage unit has been very strong. Potters haven't got much good field position tonight.
You got to give credit to A.J. Jones and Andre Lewis. We talked about him earlier in that Week 7 matchup against Dunlap and how successful they were against, Max Sutter and company. But just all throughout the season, they've been so good at not only just covering, but also being able to take the ball away. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they have a total of 9 interceptions on the year with 8 forced fumbles, and just that's kind of been the key for them. And they got the pick 6 earlier in the game. It's been huge.
So the Potters going to be needing a touchdown here and needing some quick. Davis keeps it, trying to bounce it to the outside. Nothing doing there. Luke Hoffman, the defensive tackle, brings him down.
Hasn't been too many opportunities for Davis to really show off his running ability. He had that one play, I think on their 3rd drive, or maybe their 2nd drive, where he did get about a 10-yard run. Other than that, they've been able to shut him down, that being the Washington defense.
Another quick score for you today. We have a game that's already gone final. It's not even 9 p.m., but running clock. Normal West beat Urbana 64-0. Wildcats will finish 7-2. Possible playoff matchup against Washington in the postseason. Davis, a great throw to Steffen, brought it in traffic. Picked up of about 30.
Credit to Davis there. He had the safety over top. If he would have overthrew him, it definitely would have been intercepted. Underthrew it a little bit, put it in perfect situation to get the playoff and get the chains moving.
Another quick score update for you. We said Eureka led Shelbyville 7-0. Now it's 21-0 in favor of the Hornets. Looking to bounce back after a loss to Tri-Valley, who will likely join Washington in terms of conference champions around the area. But I don't know. Davis may have something to say about it, but couldn't connect with Matt Sander.
Had Prina coming around the edge, although it was a perfect situation there. I think just the pressure was a little bit much and overthrew the ball there by Davis. Still a great drawn-up play for them, and if they keep doing stuff like that, they can surely get back in this game pretty quickly.
And they have had some quick strikes. Davis has thrown some nice balls as well. Just under 10 to go in the third. Alexander in motion. Davis runs up the middle, across the 50, and brought down from behind by Big Rick. Eric Daugherty, their 6'5", 285 D tackle. Teddy, going back to Isaac Davis, Carter Prina, again, such a strong play in the middle line. It feels like he's been around forever. He's a third-year starter. And obviously coming in looking for sacks every single play, but Isaac Davis has only been sacked one time this entire season. The testament to Morton's offensive line.
They both have two really good units, and I think overall Washington's had 19 sacks on the year.
Timeout, and we'll take a quick break with them right back after this at Babcook Field.
If you're remodeling your home, make sure you choose quality flooring from Ralph's Floor Fashions. We have tile, vinyl, and carpet. Plus, we offer custom installations and repairs. Visit Ralph's Floor Fashions today to see everything we have available.
Luxury real estate requires drone video, 3D virtual tour, and professional photography. You deserve the Adam Merrick signature marketing experience.
And welcome back as you get a look at Morton, the pumpkin capital of the world. You see the signage there around town, a team that is very proud of that distinction. Their Potters face a 3rd and 3 here. It's a run by Buffington. Escapes one tackle. He's got the first down. Buffington inside the 30, inside the 20, still on his feet. Touchdown, Morton. 45 yards for Shawndon Buffington.
Huge response by Morton. This game is not out of reach yet. It's definitely in a dire situation. You got to score, and that's exactly what they did thanks to Shawndon Buffington. Huge game for him already. Not even in the 4th quarter yet.
And Buffington's carried the ball fairly well tonight as Morton looks like they're going to go for 2 here, and I mean, why not? All the points you can get, but like you said, still plenty of time. It just comes down to can their defense get some stops. 4 wide receivers. Unconventional formation right here for the Potters. Paul Weeks looks like is going to be the one to snap this football, and Morton's going to have to burn a timeout and talk things over. Looked like they were a bit not on the same page there, a bit confused with that unconventional formation.
Definitely want to get the things right. If they get the 2-point conversion here, they'll set up a 22-point game instead of a 24, so it makes things a little bit easier. Not a lot easier, but still want to talk some things over.
So if Morton does not get this, Teddy, it is still a 3-possession game if they do get those 2-point conversions. But again, you need those touchdowns too as well. Noah Bell coming off the field for Washington. So it looks like they'll run mostly the same play they had set up. Alexander in motion. They'll run the jet sweep to him. Now Alexander throwing the ball to the back of the end zone and not complete there. Interesting play call there for the Potters, but hey, they tried to catch Washington off guard, just didn't quite execute.
Might have got a little lucky. There was a late flag thrown in the end zone.
Let's see what this is. As pass interference on the defense, so Morton will get a second crack at it.
Not sure if I would run the same type of play. Seemed like that one was a little off balance on the throw, caused it to go out of bounds, but definitely gives you a second chance, another chance to try to get back in that 2-point conversion area.
So now this will come from about the 1 or 2 yard line. So direct snap to Davis, plowing forward, had plenty of time to gain ahead of steam as a little bit of extracurriculars, but no flags, and it's 40-18. Good response again from the Potters. Now can they compound it?
They've shown the offensive ability tonight, and they've shown the offensive ability all year long, 39 points per game. But the real question is, what can their defense do? And 25 points per game against them this season. A lot of those come from the losses they've had in the tight games. But they definitely have to step up against a team like Washington because they can bring it offensively and defensively.
That scoring drive brought to you by Papa John's. We've had a lot of them tonight, Teddy. This has been a game that's not been short on points. I think maybe, I don't know about you, but more total points right now at 9:05 in the third quarter than I had expected.
Definitely was. I kind of expected the defensive battle. New offenses were going to do their thing, especially the rushing offenses of both teams. But, yeah, like you said, not expecting this high of counts from both teams. I mean, Washington at 40, Morton at 18.
So Kaser will kick it away. Or will they do the onside kick? We never know. They practice them this week. It's a normal kickoff. Jones retreats. Catches it at the 8. Looking to break it out to the left. Has some blocks. Jones evades a tackle. A convoy chasing him. He cuts it back. Can you believe it? 92 yards for A.J. Jones. And there goes the life out of the Morton sideline. What a playmaker.
John, before that play, I was really starting to think about if Washington wins this game, who am I going to think about for player of the game? And I was thinking Hunter Reed. Hunter Reed is still on the table. But another player that's making a name in that conversation is A.J. Jones. He had the touchdown in the back corner of the end zone a couple of drives ago, the big sideline catch to move the chains before the end of the first half, and now a 92-yard kick return, as well as what he's done on defense we haven't talked about. He has been phenomenal for this Panthers team so far tonight.
Well, I think that hopefully he has some more storage in his huddle account because I think he's going to have lots of highlights after this one. Miller bangs the PAT through, and it's 47-18. Great blocks, great awareness, great athleticism. He had multiple guys get hands on him. I think his jersey was grabbed. He cut it back at the very end. That kick return had it all.
Kind of hurdled over the back of his own teammate's legs. That was trying to help him out with a block, and just jumped over the legs, moved to the outside, and caught open space for 6. One of the wilder plays we've seen all season long.
A.J. Jones, again, just a junior. I think this has been one of his best games, if not the best game of the season so far. And again, Teddy, you just feel bad for Morton because, again, they got that field goal. Then Reed comes down, 48-yard touchdown not even 2 minutes later. And then you get that pass from Silas Steffen, made it 27-10 late in the second quarter. And then only for Washington to go down and have some quick strikes. Humphrey to Jones, those two fantastic grabs. Probably weren't expecting to give up a touchdown before the half. And they probably weren't expecting to give up a kick return to Jones as well after they had just scored. It's been like one step forward and 2 or 3 steps back for the Potters tonight. Alexander, can he counter with the same? Out across the 30. And rustled out at about the 37 or so. And Morton again coming in, Teddy, at 4-4. This is the similar situation they had 2 years ago. They were in the same situation facing Washington Week 9, needing a win. They did not get it that time. And Adam O'Neal, though, he wasn't here. He hasn't been in this territory very much. And if so, it's been a long time since he's been 4-4, needing a win to get to the playoffs in Week 9.
It's definitely been, you talked about how it's not much different going into this week, but I think, after halftime, you got to realize it is a little bit different. You got a lot of things on the line. I understand what he's saying, but with, 1 quarter left of football and you're down by as much as you are, we'll see what Morton can pull out of their bag on this one.
Pull out of their witch's hat. Sticking with our Halloween theme tonight, as Silas Steffen gets pushed out of bounds in Washington territory. Again, at last update, our Small Town Throwdown game, our live audio broadcast, which you can listen to on the homepage of our website, clutchsportsil.com. 14-8 with DMAC in front against a pesky Ridgeview Lexington team. Davis looking downfield. He's got a man. It's tipped up. There's a flag. It's probably going to be pass interference. I don't know about that one, Teddy. That looked like a good physical play on the football, at least in real time.
It seemed like the play on the football might not have been what the flag was thrown on. I think it was the safety coming down might have had a little bit of contact on the intended receiver.
So keep Morton's drive alive. And, Teddy, we've already seen 3 touchdowns here in this third quarter. It seems like it's been going on for forever, but there's still 8:13 to go. I still don't think you can fully count out Morton yet, because there's only been less than 4 minutes have come off the clock so far. We're averaging a touchdown per minute.
It's been electric, and it looks like they might have gotten Washington to jump on that one. So that's obviously a positive.
It's another encroachment call, so back-to-back penalties. Washington just gives Morton some more free yardage.
One thing we got to appreciate, John, just the mic'd-up refs here at Washington makes it so much easier for us here in the booth to decipher some of those things.
Such a luxury as well. 4 wide receivers for Davis, all to the left side. And they'll run a bubble screen. And it brought down right away. Great tackle by Evan Reed on Cole Rinkenberger. Second big tackle from the senior Reed tonight.
Still good situation for Morton to be in, thanks to the encroachment penalty. 2nd and 5 on Washington's side of the field. But they gotta execute on this drive if they want to try to get back in it.
Morton's probably going to have to pass a lot as well, as Vian Sims got the carry there. Haven't called his name much, Teddy, and I was just about to bring him up. He's been a very efficient running back for Morton. 9 yards per carry, and a senior that's waited his turn to flourish.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about just the different, weapons Morton has. Haven't necessarily mentioned his name as much, but, when they gave him the opportunity, he's been very efficient. That's kind of just been the result of all of their players over the last couple of weeks.
Another empty set for Davis. Looking for the end zone with Sander. Rinkenberger was also in the vicinity, too. I don't think they knew who that ball was supposed to go to.
Like Rinkenberger was the intended receiver, and then
there's a flag after the play. And it's a personal foul on Noah Bell of Washington, roughing the passer, so Morton's just getting some early Christmas gifts, 2 months to the day of which Christmas comes.
They're getting lucky, but at the same time, you can't think about it like that. You have to take advantage of the situation that's given to you. They're going to get quite a few yards thanks to the penalty and sets them up in the red zone. Now they got to execute, like I said. This is a crucial drive for them to try to get back in this. If they want any chance of winning this game, it's got to be something on this drive.
Madden bonus is it stops the clock, too. Again, not even halfway through the third quarter. Just 4 wide receivers. Trips to the left. Davis, pitch out to Seams on the option. He misses one, but gets brought down by Kamar Mack at about the 15. If Morton was able to complete this comeback, Teddy, I wouldn't, again, not going to rule it out at all, but if we were to see it, it would be one that they would almost write a movie about. I mean, down 29, needed a win to get to the playoffs. I mean, this would be something special if they're able to make this a closer game.
Really, just the whole season. You add everything into it. The 1-4 start to the season, 4-4 at this point. obviously you need a win to for surefire get into the playoffs. A lot of other factors added in. Definitely is something they would write movies about.
We'll know more about the playoff field after tonight. Davis looking for the end zone is intercepted. It'll be a touchback, and it's A.J. Jones again. What a night for the junior. A kick return for a touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and there's that defensive big play you mentioned, an interception to halt a Potters scoring drive.
I mentioned earlier he takes all three levels of a team, special teams, offense, and defense, and he has been a factor at each one of those, scoring on practically everything, just like across the board. The interception, kick return, and the reception in the end zone, like you said, he has been all over the place. That play by Davis, a little questionable on double coverage there.
At turnover brought to you by Force Basements. Again, Morton, a team not really has had many interceptions this year. Davis just had 3 coming into tonight. That is costly, and now the Panthers will just try and just chomp on some clock and chomp on some more yards. Will Hunter Reed? Pickup of about 11 or 12, or rather that was Carter Quinn on the run. Those jerseys that Washington has, Teddy, it's tripped me up in our game against Metamora. I thought that Reed had 4 touchdowns. But with the font of the numbers, I couldn't tell that Quinn's 28 was, or I thought that 28
was 20.
Yes, I thought 28 was 20. So Carter Quinn, I remember, had 2 touchdowns in that game, but it was hard to see the different uniforms. Ball is out, and it looks like Washington recovered. But, Washington's uniforms, they've gone back and forth this year. We've seen them in these black uniforms. We saw them in their kind of older orange uniforms with the white numbers as well. They have a lot of different options in the closet.
There's definitely I feel like a lot of teams around the area have some pretty cool uniforms. Washington and Morton, 2 iconic ones in the area. The orange and black and the silver, red, and white are 2 very cool ones. And just other teams around the area. I think Normal U-High is one that stuck out to both of us, to how cool their helmets are,
yeah,
the color scheme they have. There's definitely some unique ones around here.
And the Potters, their helmet, they have green stickers on them with pretty much, think of the Arkansas Razorbacks logo and make it green. And that's what the Potters stickers on their helmet are. Got an up-close look at them at practice earlier this week. Obviously fits because their other nickname is the Hogs. But again, yeah, U-High's helmet, kind of that gradient, that ombre, yellow to white. Really cool. Bloomington, we saw them quite a bit this year. Those yellow shells with the purple, those always look nice. And Teddy, your Pekin Dragons, I think, might be the only team in the area to have Jordan brand uniforms, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they are. They're only for their home uniforms. I think it's Nike on the away uniforms. I remember when my junior year is when they got those uniforms, and it was the talk of the entire town because how sleek those uniforms are. I obviously am a big fan, but there's some other really cool ones in the area too that I like.
Penalty on the last play as Reed gets spun around for a short gain, so it'll be 3rd and medium here. I'm trying to think of some of the other best uniforms and helmets in the area. I know a team we haven't seen this year has gone through their struggles, but Tremont, they had new helmets with those turkey tracks down the middle of that stripe. New cool lids this year.
Teams that can do cool stuff with helmets, that really puts it all together. Because there's a lot of cool jersey combinations you can make and different color schemes, but a true helmet is what really ties it all together. Like stuff like that makes it unique.
It's kind of the make or break thing, right? You can have a great jersey, but if you have not a great helmet, then, kind of dampens it a little bit. 3rd and 7 for Humphrey and the Panthers. They will throw here. Humphrey rolling out, looking for his guy. Guess who? It's A.J. Jones with the catch for the first down. As Humphrey took a big hit and still completed that pass, his flag may be a roughing the passer call.
I think it was definitely after the play. Not ideal for Morton, but
it's an illegal receiver downfield, actually, so this play might be coming back for the Panthers.
Some unhappy Washington fans on the sideline over here trying to force it. It's a tight end.
May have been referring to Carter Prina, number 89, who, again, makes his name known as a defensive end, but also a strong tight end as well. So make it 3rd down and 7, or rather 3rd and 12, rather. Panthers need to get to the 43 to keep this drive going. I know Dunlap, I know they have a lot of different uniforms. They have their USA ones. They have I think there's some different helmets this year. Is Humphrey looking to pass? Avoids a sack by Snyder, and he'll just tuck it and run. He's still going. Humphrey may have a first down here. He's still somehow on his feet. And he did get the first. A run of 13 from the Washington signal caller.
Thought he was going to get hit. There is a flag in the backfield. Regardless of if that's on Washington or not, I want to give credit to Humphrey there because thought he was going to get taken out in the backfield, evaded the pressure, scrambled, took it his own decision, broke a tackle, broke another tackle, forced his way. Credit to him. It will be going back on Washington, but still an impressive play by Humphrey.
We talked about, Jones having a great game, Reed having a great game. Tyler Humphrey has also had a very strong game as well, running the ball, passing the ball too, and he's a guy that encountered some early struggles this season. Right through multiple pick sixes against Caneland and Kankakee, and really took it upon himself to get better. Obviously, maybe the passing attempts, the completions aren't maybe as high as others in the area, but he's an experienced guy that knows this team and operates this offense well.
I mean, yeah, John, a year ago he was a all-conference team player, so he definitely has the skills to lead an offense, and Hunter Reed breaks that one free, gets wrapped up after the first, to make it 2nd and 10.
That'll be fourth down now after that 3rd and 21. It took 5 Potters to touch Reed before they brought him down. His defense, again, is probably just gassed right now, and we see it so often with teams that face Washington.
Yeah, that's what running the ball really does to teams. I mean, obviously, it can wear you down as well, but I think the way Washington, they have something in the water over at Washington, because when you have a team like this that's so successful at running the ball year in, year out, it becomes part of the culture. Who's going to be the next Washington running back? They just know how it's going to affect these teams, and we're seeing it now here in the fourth quarter.
4th and 11, Smith out to punt. And it's a great one here, as Rinkenberger will just let that one go. Here. And so the Potters will take over, and we'll see this offense again. We'll see if they get any more creative again. Todd Stevens talked about it a bit earlier, said that he was drawing up plays that Morton hadn't even ran yet. It's because they wanted to be prepared for everything, and I think they've been pretty prepared for the most part here tonight, Teddy.
Yeah, they've done a great job defensively, offensively as well. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But defensively, that was the big question, because when you don't know what a team is going to do, how do you prepare for that? Well, you think about what they could possibly do, like Todd Stevens said, and it seems like it's worked out great for them tonight, as they've only allowed 18 points from this 39-point-per-game average Morton Potters.
18 is actually a little bit more than what Washington gives up, especially in conference games at home, nonetheless. But again, you're still going up against one of the best offenses in the Mid-Illini. When Dunlap was here back in Week 7, they were the highest scored offense in the conference at that point. And then now not the case, because they were stymied against the Panthers in a 31-10 loss. Davis rolling out, running out of room. He just got to get rid of it. And chucks it to the sidelines, where Washington's Varick Holmes Jr. gets a hand on the football.
I think going back to that, the Dunlap game you referred to, even that, it's crazy to think about, because holding them to 10 points, that was the most points any Mid-Illini team had scored against Washington all season. Obviously, it's changed now with Morton scoring 18, which is, a credit in their own right, even though they're losing. Just shows how good this Washington team is, man, all around. A lot of times you see good offenses, not so great defense, or vice versa, but they really are well-rounded.
Davis, a pass, another good one to Steffen. Not going to get to the sticks there. They needed 12, but improves a little bit. As the Washington fans are up for something, they didn't quite catch what it was about, but they've had lots to cheer about tonight. All right, so going to be a holding call on Morton, and a little sarcastic cheer, given all the Panthers penalties as of late.
They will decline it.
And you might as well. That is them stopping them on 3rd and 12. So Morton looks like they're just going to take their medicine and kick it here with Trey Zobrist. I got to say, these hot dogs that were just brought up to us in the booth are quite delicious. Good hot dogs here in Washington.
We've gotten pretty lucky with a lot of the games we do about, just good concessions. I know last year we had the pork chop reviews.
Need to bring those back.
Definitely do. Great punt.
That will be down at about the 33-yard line. So, yeah, do the math, a 48-yard boot there for Trey Zobrist. So Washington will take most likely one play. We'll move on to the fourth quarter. This third quarter took quite a long time, Teddy. A lot of scoring plays, a lot of penalties. That looks like this fourth, Washington will just likely be able to run this one out. I think Morton is kind of starting to accept their unfortunate fate a little bit.
Seems that way, and before that last score by A.J. Jones, it seemed like there was a little bit of hope, of just an improbable comeback. But at this point, just every time they answer back at Washington, it's no match because Washington finds a way to get something going, whether it's the kickoff, other things like that, interceptions into double coverage. It's just they've been constantly making plays and making it hard for Morton.
In case you missed the start of the game or are just tuning in, Morton jumped out 3-0 early on. Then Washington got a touchdown run by Hunter Reed and then a pick six on the next play from a scrimmage. Went up 13-3 at the end of the first quarter, led 34-10 at half, and now lead 47-18 after 3 quarters here at Babcook Field, Washington. 12 minutes away from their second consecutive outright conference championship. At third quarter brought to you by Peoria Production Solutions. Back for the fourth after this.
The Jansen Law Center, representing Illinois injury victims for over 40 years.
You're involved in a serious auto crash. The insurance company isn't even fair with you concerning your motor vehicle. You think they're going to be fair with you with regard to your serious injuries? Contact the Jansen Law Center.
J. Jansen. One name says it all.
I know that buying and selling in today's real estate market, it can be stressful. I've been guaranteeing home sales since 2007. Call Adam Merrick Real Estate and I'll take the stress out of your next move. I'll have an offer to you in 48 hours, guaranteed.
If you're remodeling your home, make sure you choose quality flooring from Ralph's Floor Fashions. We have tile, vinyl, and carpet. Plus, we offer custom installations and repairs. Visit Ralph's Floor Fashions today to see everything we have available.
Hey, welcome back to Washington. Second down run by the Panthers got about to the 40-yard line, so it'll be about a 3rd and 3 for them. Teddy, I think this Washington team might be on track for one of their largest point outputs of the season. Scored 49 against Canton last week and are one score away from setting a new season high.
It's been impressive all game long, and it's really just not been the offense. Like we've said, it's been every facet of what they've done with the pick six, the kick return. Just been able to show off in this game, really.
And a big tackle for loss there as Kamar Mack went backwards with some emphasis. So Morton might have the chance to get the football back here. Punt unit comes out. I tell you, not only does Devin Miller have a great leg, but Joe Smith, their punter, does as well. Ball's going to be officially spotted at the 39. How far do you think this punt is going to go?
Okay, what was the average earlier? 30, 38?
His average coming into tonight was 33.5, which will round up to 34.
Okay.
I think he might be going slightly with the wind, but there's not much wind here tonight in Washington as a flag down.
So he might not be going anywhere with the
illegal substitution on Morton. I'll back him up to the 34, but anyway, Teddy, give me a number. What do you got?
I'm gonna go 37.
37. I'm gonna say 40.
Thinking about it now with the man, in case he gets blocked or something like that, I would say 40 above, but I'll stick with 37, I guess.
See who's closer.
Anticipation.
Washington is letting that clock run. Another stoppage here.
And we have a official stoppage of play.
This is an official stoppage here. So, I don't know, Teddy, where do you think referees talking about where they might go to eat after this as they reset the clock to 10:30? If you're a referee, hungry after this game, no concessions, unfortunately, for you. They don't have the same luxury we do in the booth.
You can definitely go somewhere here in Washington because none of the Washington fans are going to be too upset with you. I wouldn't recommend anywhere in Morton. Not that they've been bad, but sometimes fans like to take some stuff out on referees.
Well, I don't think they'd be showing up in their gear. They'd be largely unrecognizable. At least we would think, for the most part. We'd hope so. And here's that punt from Smith. And it's a pretty good one. Brought in at the 27, and he is lit up. Rinkenberger is brought down by a Washington special teams unit. Looks like that was Caden Rickey, the junior, number 23, taking him down. So the punt goes from the 34 to the 27. Gotta do the math, Teddy. That's 39 yards. I was one off.
That was really close.
You were close too. You were close too.
Right in the middle. Good punt though, regardless.
Try and get you some score updates. Again, other teams in the area looking to clinch their playoff bids. P&D entered tonight at 4-4. They're taking on Danville down at Dozer Park down in Peoria. Always a fun time when they play football on a baseball field. As well as DMAC. Again, playing Ridgeview, Lexington in our small town throwdown. You can tune into that on ClutchSportsIL.com right now.
Excited to hear that score for the Peoria Notre Dame game. Peoria Notre Dame, that's a team that on our most recent podcast episode, I picked them as a team that could make a Cinderella run in a category that we had was, what team could make the farthest Cinderella run. I picked Peoria Notre Dame. The win tonight would set them at 5-4, could really set them up in good situation.
Here's a 2nd and 3. Morton will hand it off to Buffington. He'll pick up the first down and more. Another nice run for Sean did Buffington into Washington territory. A pickup of about 26 there. He's been a small bright spot for Morton tonight. Had that 45-yard touchdown rush in the third quarter. Matt, you mentioned Cinderella, Teddy, and, again, on Halloween, had to think, how much would it take you to dress up in a Cinderella outfit? I love to see you, your festivities, dress up as a princess, even though you got Sean McVay tonight. It'd be quite the switch.
I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that opportunity. I think John. I think you could pull it off really well.
No,
honestly,
definitely not.
You got the longer hair right now. I think you
got some long hair too. I think we could both go for some haircuts.
You know what? Let's go Disney princesses next year. Okay, we'll do that.
I don't quite know about that. Yeah, we were the. Yeah, I know you can't see us in the booth, but. We were tuned in at the start. Did have our Halloween costumes on. Had my cowboy hat on.
Broadcast bandit.
My bandana, broadcast bandit. Teddy in his Los Angeles Rams hoodie and his wig with frosted tips. Looking like Sean McVay. I mean, Teddy, I'm holding this wig in my hand right now. You can't get much closer to Sean McVay's hairstyle than this wig right here. Another fine pickup from Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, shout out Spirit Halloween. Had to go to this game. I was thinking about, we were talking about what we were going to be. I was like, I have no idea. I haven't got my Halloween costume yet, but I think after tonight, I'm just going to stick with Sean McVay. And if people get it, those are the people I want to talk to in the first place.
Definitely. I've never really been a big, go out and buy a Halloween costume. I'm just kind of, see what you have in the wardrobe and scrounge something together.
Fair enough.
3rd and 7 here for Morton. It's a screen out to Rinkenberger. He's been busy tonight. Wrapped up by a pair of Panthers. Well short of the sticks, James Johnson and Evan Reed on the tackle. Looking, I think, through past years, Teddy, I've been a sailor. I've been a cowboy. Can't remember what I was last year. Not quite sure. I'll tell you what I was. I was busy. Playoff football, always around the Halloween season as well.
Fair.
I think last year, Teddy, I remember now, that was actually one of the few costumes I went out and bought. As Davis on 4th down, looking for Steffen, just past his outstretched hand, and it'll be Washington football. I remember last year, I obviously dressed up with my girlfriend in a couple's costume. She was a police officer, and I was the prisoner.
Pretty classic one. You see that quite a bit.
I don't think that showing up in the orange jumpsuit tonight would have been a good idea.
Probably not.
And probably, again, don't want to give off any indication that I would be biased at all because, again, more obviously Washington is orange, and obviously we have no skin in the game up here in the booth, so I don't want to give off the indication.
That's why I didn't dress up as, a Mid-Illini coach. I dressed up as an NFL coach.
I could dress up as, I give points to anyone who would dress up as a Mid-Illini football coach. As Humphreys going backwards, Gideon Snyder, a wannabe MMA fighter, throws him down. He is anticipating a career there. And Teddy, again, coming into tonight, both teams had some playoff goals. Morton would have needed a win to secure a playoff spot. Not looking likely right now. They need 7 teams to fall out of the projected field in order to get it. Meanwhile, Washington, you see what, again, win does for them. Likely secures a first-round playoff game and, again, gives them that conference title. So, again, still a very slim shot for Morton to make the playoffs at 4-5. There's been an increasing number of 4-5 teams that have made the playoffs over the last few years, but Powders are going to need some help. Flag down here on 2nd and 12.
The illegal shift on the offense there.
Evan Deasy coming into the game now at running back. So Reed, his night could be through, and it's a very well-earned rest indeed. Another 4-touchdown game for the senior running back. He's up to 20 now on the season.
John, going back to just the chances of making the playoffs at 4-5, obviously not great. But if you look at the overall season, and I know we kind of have to, we say this about a lot of teams, how like they are good, maybe the record doesn't show it, but if any of those sayings apply to one team, that would be the Morton Potters, because you start off 0-2 against 2 really good teams, non-conference, and that's kind of the risk you take when you schedule games like that. It's like you get better competition, but at the same time, you risk losing those games.
I was thinking the same exact thing. It's kind of gotta do part of the business hat, cost-benefit analysis. This run could be a big benefit for the Panthers. Deasy inside the 30, still up. Pushed out inside the red zone. The junior who got the start at linebacker tonight in place of Thomas Diedrich, who's injured, pulls off one of the biggest runs of the evening.
That just shows you they got the talented players, like Hunter Reed that can run the ball, but also it's just the system in general, whether it's the offensive line, the game plan of how to attack. They have the guys that can really step up in their big roles, and we talked about DC going up into the linebacker role. Didn't even think about him running the ball tonight, but he's been, they've been so successful that he gets the reps, and he's been able to make the most of it.
That carry puts him over 200 yards on the season, hunting for his 4th touchdown. And heavy set backfield, no wide receivers here for Washington. They'll just run it up the middle where he's thrown down that time. That was Carter Quinn, which I was able to correctly identify as number 28 and not number 20 Hunter Reed.
Get them mixed up every once in a while, but that's okay. It's a little hard to see from the booth. Jersey numbers are the same.
Especially when their jersey gets kind of scrunched up as it does throughout the game as well.
Like
you don't see that line through the 8, and you think it's number 20. As it'll be 2nd and 10 here for the Panthers. And ladies and gentlemen, after this play, we're going to get a look. Teddy Ball's going to show you his Sean McVay wig. As a good run for Washington, gets him inside the 15. As there you get to see it. Get a look in the booth here. Teddy, I don't know, we want to lean over, put that wig on there for a second. I'll take your headset off for you. We're going to see, folks, Teddy Ball going to show you his Sean McVay costume he had here tonight. Looks just like him. Looks just like him. Hoodie too, it's the same exact hoodie that Sean McVay wears on the sidelines. Isn't that correct? And I'll let you get your headset back on.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not just here to dress up. I'm fully in line with the Sean McVay, persona. Won last night, flew all the way here from LA. Can't miss this Washington Morton game.
How is the traffic down at LAX? I'm not a big fan of traffic myself. I don't know how you do it out there in the City of Angels.
Everybody gets out of the way for Sean McVay around there. I won a dang Super Bowl. Come on. Get out of the way.
Hey, that probably carries some clout in traffic. You're driving by, you see a guy flash a Super Bowl ring. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead and pass.
Fair enough. Oh, are we going to get an appearance from the broadcast bandit himself as well?
I figured I'd get in on the act as well, as Washington again knocking on the door of the red zone. Got to get my cowboy hat on as well. Not sure about my bandana, as here's a run up the middle. It's another touchdown for Washington. Kamar Mack joins the action.
It's a party in the end zone for Washington at this point. They just keep pouring it on, and, that brings the total above the 49-point mark that they hit against Canton last week. 53 points for the Panthers in this one. It's such a strong showing offensively, defensively, special teams, coaching. It's been a masterclass for the Panthers and Todd Stevens so far tonight.
No, the PAT is good by Devin Miller, and the Panthers have now tripled up the Potters 54-18. And folks, well, hey, gotta at least show you the hat. I have my bandana here with it as well. Didn't have time to get that on as well, but hey, having fun, saddling up here in the booth here at Babcook.
It was a fun segment to do at the start of the thing. I did not think I was ever going to put that wig on again until you guys made me do it. However, I had to get in character, sitting here with the broadcast bandit. I guess.
Having all sorts of fun here in Washington tonight, and so are the home Panthers. Looking to just ride this one out and get to 7-2 on the season. Some fans jumping around, some fans sticking around, some fans are also heading for the exits as well. It's, again, getting a little bit chilly out here in central Illinois. Cannot wait for playoff season, though, Teddy. And speaking of that, big score in Dunlap tonight. Dunlap just went ahead 21-20 on a Jackson Oldham touchdown that was set up by a 25-yard run from Joe Weeks. Again, our friends over at WMBD are also streaming that on CIProud.com as well. That is a great matchup, and Teddy, again, it would just be such a big win for Dunlap. You don't want to go into the playoffs back-to-back seasons with 3 straight losses, because you remember that happened to them last year before a first-round playoff exit.
They got a big return here, almost.
And still on his feet. Great return there from Keenan Smith, sophomore running back.
John, I don't think you quite saw it. You were looking at me when the play initially happened, but the ball was dropped when he caught the ball, recovered it, took it to the outside, was able to swing it close to about the midfield. So credit to him. But back to what you were saying about Dunlap. Obviously, don't want to go into the playoffs like with that much momentum lost, because we saw how it affected them last season. It's such a great team offensively and defensively, but got to try to win.
And again, Teddy, let's look at Morton's schedule this season. Again, you mentioned those 2 very tough teams, Mahomet Seymour and Rochelle. Both those teams are state ranked. I think both the teams could make a very deep run in Class 5A. Tough to start out against those two. Rochelle, they didn't have the ball that often. Hubs are a wing T team, and they just never really had that much possession. As here's a run from Seams. He's got the first down and inside the 35. Inside of 4 minutes left to play. But then again, he had some big wins in the Mid-Illini. He had that big win over Dunlap, probably their biggest, I should say most impressive win of the season last week. Dunlap never really even had a shot in that game. After they went ahead 14-7, it was all Potters after that.
Yeah, like I said before, you got to give them their credit, because they've been able to show glimpses of just a super successful team that they are. But like I said, when you start off with 2 very, very hard teams scheduled, that's the risk you take. Also with a couple of, up-in-the-air games against Pekin and Metamora could have gone either way, and boom, now you lost 4 games, and you got to win that 9th game.
And briefly, again, looking at Washington's schedule, just kind of recapping their regular season. Close loss at home to Canelan. They're not far away from being 8-1. should give them an even higher seed in the playoffs. Lost to Kankakee, which was just kind of a runaway game, much closer than what the scoreboard indicated for most of that game. And then you see what they've done in Mid-Illini play. I mean, really no close games, except for maybe that one against Pekin back in week 4.
Yeah, that one was really the only one, and even in that one, they kind of ran away towards the end with a late score. So even in games where it's been a little bit more contentious, a little bit tighter, they've been able to pull away pretty fairly.
Tyus Almasi getting the carry there for Morton. And Teddy, you know, we're getting in the final few minutes here. One thing we have not talked about tonight, you know, on Morton, one side of the coin, you win, you're in the playoffs, you lose, your season is over. For them, again, it really stings for the Potter seniors who came in tonight not knowing if this would be their last game or not. And unfortunately for them, it will, but what a strong senior class for them. Paul Weeks, Aaron Garcia, Almasi, a senior as well. Cole Rinkenberger, unfortunately going to be the last time that he takes the football field in high school. Shondon Buffington, last kid of Potter's uniform. It's going to be weird not seeing him around this Potter's team as well. A lot of other seniors as well. Julian Alexander, Mason Hoyland at linebacker, Trey Zobrist. Team that has so many seniors, including this guy, VN Seams, in for a late touchdown there as a moment that he will savor for the rest of his life. Doesn't matter much in terms of the outcome, but for Seams, he gets one more before his high school career finishes.
One more for good measure, and like you mentioned, just how important it is for, you know, have a lasting memory that you remember for the rest of your life. But other than the seniors, if you look at this Morton, you know, roster, they do have a lot of young guys that, you know, next season it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of develop into things. Isaac Davis, like we mentioned, the quarterback who, you know, had a little bit of struggle so far tonight. I mean, who doesn't against Washington? They're a great team. But overall, his season was extremely successful, and he's only a sophomore. He's 15 years old leading that Morton offense.
I was talking with Adam O'Neill, their head coach, and he said that he's still getting picked up by his parents from practice, doesn't have his license yet, and still one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. 2-point conversion is no good, making a 54-24 game. But again, obviously we talked about some seniors for Morton. I want to give all of them their respect. Again, Drake Paul, senior wide receiver and DB. Isaac Garza, V and Seams. Dane Kaser, their kicker. Ethan Johnson, starter at safety for them tonight. Wade Luchtenberg, Gideon Snyder, linebacker again, who we mentioned has aspirations. I said he'll want to be, but he has realistic, legitimate aspirations of fighting in the MMA one day. Braden Everett as well. Dennis Dracup, 3-year starter, all-conference lineman. Caleb Davis, Rylan Tanner, Joe Hearn, their starting center. Ian Collins, multi-year starter on the defensive line. Jake Grethy and Lucas Drake, all of Morton's seniors who will have a curtain call. We'll see if they get in the game or if they just put in the subs, but this one's all but wrapped up.
It's going to be interesting to see how, you know, what happens after football for some of those guys, and really all those guys, just kind of, because football is a small part of people's life. Obviously it's fun. We watch it all the time because we're big sports fans, but obviously there's players and people behind that, and, you know, each year they go on. There's new seniors, new people that graduate. Just the way football goes here at high school level.
And again, you know, so many kids that play football end up having successful lives and careers, and it's, you know, because of the things that they learn, right? You know, part of it is obviously, you know, the wins and losses. You want to make the playoffs. You want to go far. You want to have the big names, the big numbers. But it's also, too, about, you know, learning things like accountability, toughness, resilience, being a team player, all those things that can translate to wherever you are, whether you are playing football still, whether you're in college, in the workplace, doesn't matter. You know, those years you spend playing football just set you up so well for the rest of your life, especially when you play for a guy like Adam O'Neill and Todd Stevens.
Definitely. I think a coach, different coaches can instill a lot of things into, you know, young men that are on the field and stuff that they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives. There's a reason why this community is so strong, where you come back and you see the Hall of Famers get inducted at halftime or in pregame and stuff like that. It's just because they come back because the respect for the program, the respect for the coaches and stuff that they learn and things that they still carry with them for years and years. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, 10 years from now, what, you know, some of these players come back and see how things are.
Cole Rinkenberger there on that stop, and I think tonight, Teddy, he has been Morton's most valuable player. We'll have our player of the game brought to you by Perfect Choice Exteriors following the conclusion of this one. But Rinkenberger, again, all over the place on offense and defense. He put a very big bow on a nice high school career here tonight in Washington. 2nd and 9, looks like Jeter Schwiegert might be in at quarterback. Or actually, that's Owen Klein, their starting safety, who is their backup QB, now in the game. And getting some carries here is Connor Hurd, their junior running back. Perhaps a look at the future for Washington at who could take over the backfield after Reed and Quinn graduate.
That's always a cool idea of thinking about it. We talked about the seniors going away and briefly talked about people of the future, but that's always kind of cool when you can see in games like this just a glimpse into the future of even the JV games we see before when we're getting ready here in the booth, kind of seeing what's going to be happening a couple years from now in Washington and Morton, stuff like that.
Score update from Dunlap. The Eagles just recovered a fumble for a touchdown and lead 28-20 in the late stages of that game. Ball came out. There are some extracurriculars there. Morton's still playing hard, but you don't want to play too hard and draw the extra foul. That's a personal foul. Morton, can't fault them for still playing hard. You don't want to be too over-aggressive, though, but hey, if you're going to make your last moments on the football field count, why not just go all out?
Might as well. Like you said, you want to make a lasting statement with the touchdown in the end zone, but defensive players, they want to do that too. They don't want to just sit there and kind of barely pat each other, and for the rest of the game, they're trying to play football. We still got 33 seconds left of football, but that'll probably be the last play.
That will be the last play. Washington does not need to run any more time off the clock. Take a look at Morton's student section. Even in a 30-point loss that ends their season, they didn't see it just now, but they were still jumping around and supporting their Potters after a fantastic season that ultimately will fall, most likely, just short of the playoffs. It was all Washington tonight, 54-24. Panthers are your 2024 Mid-Illini Conference champions. First time that we have repeat outright conference title winners since Washington did so in 2015 and 2016. We'll take a quick break and then wrap things up here from Babcook Field. Washington moves to 7-2, Morton 4-5. Right back after this to wrap things up on CIProud.com.
The tradition, the atmosphere, the pageantry, and the passion. Big Noon Saturday.
Will Howard and Ohio State take on Dylan Raiola and Nebraska. Watch out! It's Big Noon Saturday on Fox.
And welcome back to Washington. Jonathan Michael and Teddy Ball wrapping things up here from Babcook Field. Teddy, we talked about our Perfect Choice Exteriors player of the game. Two guys stood out, Hunter Reed and A.J. Jones. But A.J. Jones had definitely the best game of his season to close out.
Yeah, Hunter Reed, you got to give him his credit. He ran the ball like crazy, like per usual. 4 rushing touchdowns until he got pulled. No reason for him to be in there after that. But A.J. Jones, we talked about it during the game. He did it on every level of the game. Offensively as a receiver with the back corner touchdown, the sideline catch right before that, the interception at the opposing goal line, the 92-yard kick return, just a lot of things that didn't result in big plays as well that we didn't even mention. Overall, he was a playmaker all game long, and A.J. Jones, our player of the game.
Yeah, those were two plays that really, again, just stopped any sort of Morton momentum. Potters, again, had some good things going tonight, but every single time, it was very, very short-lived. There was the touchdown from Silas Steffen made it 27-10, and then A.J. Jones had that great catch, those 2 great grabs along the sideline that you mentioned. And then, Buffy did a 45-yard rushing touchdown, cuts it to 40-18. And then on the next play, A.J. Jones' 92-yard kick return for a touchdown. Morton just was not able to compound their strong play, and it just very good counter punches from Washington tonight.
overall, you got to give them credit all throughout. We only can pick one player of the game, but there's so many guys that deserve, to be acknowledged in this game. Tyler Humphrey had a great game as well. We talked about, he had the touchdown, obviously. He had a couple long runs and just placing the ball right where it needed to be. A lot of players on defense really stepped up as well, and overall, great team win for Washington. It wasn't an individual win, although there were individual players that stood out. Overall, they played well together in their final game of the regular season.
I would most definitely agree. Washington will await their playoff fate tomorrow, their seeding and who they'll face. That will be revealed tomorrow evening. It should be a fun time to see who they will play against. Lots of area teams in Class 6A. Can't rule out facing a local team. They should most likely be hosting a first-round playoff game. Morton, it all comes to an end, most likely again here tonight at Babcook Field. Major hats off and tip of the cap to the Morton Potters and their head coach Adam O'Neill. Class act and a class team as always. For all of our fantastic broadcast crew tonight, Mark Wagner, Quinn Rinkenberger, brother of Cole Rinkenberger, behind the camera for us tonight, as well as Jalen Harris on camera, Kaden Sexton, our producer, Paco Alonso on the sidelines taking pictures and updating social media, Josh Messenger, the big man behind it all, directing, and my fantastic broadcast partner, Teddy Ball. I'm Jonathan Michael, saying so long and good night from Washington. The Panthers roar to a 54-24 victory over Morton. They are your Mid-Illini Conference champs. So long, folks. Have a great rest of your weekend.